What's up, guys? I'm playing drums for the Montoya Machine January 17th in Northeast Mid. Just double check that we're actually working over there. Yep, hit that Matt Seeley one. Yeah, okay, we're in there. Okay, good. And then see in the audio mixer, make sure his mic is unmuted. No. You're doing too much. There you go. You got it. There you go. You're good.
Yeah, girl.
Cheers, buddy. Welcome
Hey.
back.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, man.
One less bridge I burned.
Well, we'll see. We got a couple hours.
I'm growing. I'm showing. I'm a grower, not a shower, baby.
Same.
I was having a conversation with Patrick from 93X. He's not from 93X anymore, but that's where we all know him from.
Sure.
He's a good buddy, and I was talking to him earlier, and I don't remember exactly the context of everything because we were having a longer conversation. But he's like, "No, I heard you say something on the podcast the other day, and I really appreciate it about you." He goes, "You came back from the podcast, and you were like." Or your break, I started doing the podcast again. You're like, yeah, I've completely regressed. I gotta start over because I've gotten I gotta practice listening again. It's such an interesting skill that I didn't appreciate until I started podcasting.
You know, that's a skill that transcends multiple requirements in all fields and all markets. And to be honest, a big thing I'm studying lately is just sales in general. And you only get better at selling by listening to yourself. I mean, you have to be able to look in the mirror. You know, self-reflection's key. So, I don't know. It's just some food for thought.
What the fuck is that, Jason?
Some sweet.
Oh,
there
gotcha.
we go. Cool.
What have you been up to, dude? You've been doing something very confusing to me. And I signed up for it, but I signed up for it at a bad time. And you gave me like a free entrance into it.
Yeah, well,
it was in its infancy. You had just launched this thing, but I was not in a position to sit down.
Oh, you're talking the group, yeah, okay.
And you had a lesson plan and a course, and it was fucking amazing, dude. But I was just not, and none of my bands were in a spot to take advantage of this knowledge as well. Whereas now, here I am.
Yeah.
A long time later. I'm in an active band. I'm about to be in two. Well, I'm in two, but one's about to be active as well. So tell me what you've been up to, dude, because this is super interesting.
So
we got a lot to talk about.
To be honest, I've actually forgotten about that because I, at the same time, wasn't ready for it. I blasted it up because, I mean, I'm a doer, right? Like a lot of people, and we should talk about this, but because, I mean, is this your first podcast of the 2025?
Yeah.
Shit. So New Year's resolutions for
most.
New
Year, new me.
Right. Well, so, okay.
No more pumpkin lattes.
Let me ask you first, what's your resolution, man?
I don't make resolutions because I think they're gay.
Perfect.
No, I do, but I make passive ones because here's the thing. I've been thinking about and gearing up to what I'm going to do in 2025. I started that 3 months ago.
Yeah.
I don't do this whole, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and
we're going to get along great. So the reason I ask you that question is because I'm similar. Like my whole aura, anyone that knows me, my I guess, midlife crisis statement and prior has always been bring up everybody around me and I hopefully will prevail, right? So my brain's always trying to gear
my
towards
phrase is
products.
Same thing. My phrase is rising tide raises all ships. It's
Absolutely.
Same exact sentiment. Absolutely. Same exact, but that's my phrase.
Very Irish of you. But my point is when it comes to resolutions, I'm like you, except maybe a step further. Well, I shouldn't say further. I just continuous improvement mindset. So why the fuck would I wait for a New Year day to come before I make change? If I wait, your mental state is in survival mode, and that's comfort. Anybody in a comfort zone is going to be where they're at. You know, they've been. And I just refuse. I want to get better. Everything I'm doing, I may not come tomorrow.
I think the only reason I don't do the whole snap, let's do it overnight, the only reason I don't do that is because I failed at doing that so many times. I started to learn, hey, why do I fail at, for example, I've never been a diet guy, but let's use diet because that's the common one everybody uses.
What's a diet?
Let's stay in the New Year's resolution analogy, right?
Right.
I'm going to start a diet on the 1st. you have not practiced any good eating habits leading up to this.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So like what I would never do is be like, I'm gonna start working out. I'm gonna go on this diet. What I would have started doing is back in September, starting some push-ups, starting
Damn
some squats, starting replacing chocolate with fruit, starting so that way when I do decide to make this decision come January 1st, I've already got momentum going into it. So now what I'm doing is I'm making the final, let's shed the rust, let's get rid of the baggage
Momentum.
and really fully commit,
Mm-hmm.
because most of what we're trying to solve in this world can't be done overnight. And
Yeah, you're spot on.
And I think we have good intentions when we say we're going to do those things. Like, I'm quitting cold turkey. But the reason you failed is because you didn't
do the
set
prep work.
yourself up for success. So that's the only reason I put it that way. Because I always think like I'm booking a show. I book my life 2 to 3 months out. Like between booking concerts, booking the podcast.
We were only a week ago, man.
Making that is true.
Call out.
But I just flat out told you. I was like, hey,
shit.
man, I got this weird date I can't fill.
No, it's fine.
It literally happens every single month. I have one date I can't fill.
Sure.
It's existed since the day I launched this podcast. But seriously, from concerts to podcasts to fucking what am I doing for my anniversary? Like,
Right.
it's January. I'm already thinking about that. That's in April. Because I got to take time off. I got to organize things. And I think that also really helps me. And I think if more people did that, it would help them too.
Dude.
Because it gives you things to look forward to. Life's not unpredictable. I get to like optimize and like hope. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go do this thing I've been planning for 6 months.
Spot on. That's a huge point. Like, that's how I run my life too. Like, I always need to have like a vacation planned for February so that all year long I have something to work for and towards.
Because Minnesota, our New Year is March.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the Arctic
Minnesota years are March through February.
sets in, and I'm like, get me to Florida or the Caribbean, you know. But no, that's huge. And motivation's a great point that you brought up, because I think, you know, to get proper motivation, I mean, we all know how long habits take, you know, to form. And you're not going to just overnight say, all right, I'm doing the whole 30. I'm not eating a single carb. You know, like you can if you got some help maybe, but it's not sustainable, just like diets, you know.
Especially if you get into the details of these things, right? Like, so the diet thing, a big thing that people can't stick with is because they've fucked up their gut biome overnight. Like, their gut biome is like literally dying,
and that's
it's
literal.
Certain things.
What about just influence? Like, you get on the internet, you're like, hey, I'm doing the whole 30. Yeah, great. I'm sticking to it. It's been a week. And then somebody online comments like, oh my
Ketos
God,
for
that can
fags.
kill you, or that. and next thing you know, you're
Well,
like, shit, I don't feel like doing this anymore. And you know, your whole plan's fucked. So yeah, it's
But
an
going back to
interesting
this,
thing.
so you weren't ready to start that thing,
No,
is what you were saying. But
I
it was a
literally
great idea. So explain to people at least what it was.
The point behind that group. So it was a school group. I'm actually going to transition it eventually to my internal systems, so that I don't have to pay school as a third party, because I have a different system I built.
School is like a
online
it's a company that
course
does
and
courses
community
and stuff.
posting service.
SKOOL, right?
Yeah. And so I'm basically going to build that because I have a system that's comparable, and I can internalize everything, and I just haven't gotten to it yet because I'm focused on Result Vault now, which we'll get to. But basically the idea was bring in bands or musicians that need help with transitioning from like hobbyists to the second step, you know, that's more like monetizing their career as a musician.
So let's break this down. So hobbyists means you're not just in your basement.
Right.
It means you're playing out. You are doing shows. Maybe you even made a T-shirt. Maybe you even saved up $400 and you bought 100 T-shirts.
Right.
But you're not really trying to make it a career. Maybe 2 of your band members want to, like, quote unquote, make it big. You really want to push, but
it might not
the
even
other
be because
guys
of
are
you.
like,
It might not be you don't want to. It might be that you rely on 3 or 4 other people in the band, and they're not as serious as you. But somehow you're limited, right?
Right. But I just don't want to minimize, because some people hear hobby and they think, oh, well, we're above that. It's like,
Right.
I don't think that's the way most people use hobby bands. Most people use hobby bands as in like, yeah, you guys are a good local band, but you're not trying to make it farther than local.
Right.
That many people will call that a hobby.
You know, when I'm 50, 60 years old, I'm a hobby band for sure. Like,
Right,
I don't want to leave my basement.
If I paid you enough, you would.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, I've set up enough things where it's not even important. But, you know, until then, if like you're learning your instrument and you're trying to like, you know, really truly wow people and create fan base and all that stuff, like your mentality shouldn't be a hobbyist. It should be like, how do I monetize? Because the rest comes from it. You know.
Well, and even on a more innocent, simple scale, like let's say it is just a quote unquote hobby band. Do you know the fastest way to have a great local band break up?
Not play gigs.
I was going to say have it cost too much money for the dude to justify anymore. So the number one thing that I see happen
Which
to
is
bands,
effort through not playing gigs because you forget how much fun you're having as a hobbyist, because that's your investment.
that's definitely,
you know?
that's definitely true.
Yeah.
And what I see happen most is this great band is playing, but guy's got a kid, he's got a good job, and this just really isn't, it's costing him money. He's missing time from his family. But here's the deal. If you gave that dude $800 every time you asked him to do that same thing, he would never quit your fucking band.
Correct.
And why this matters, people go, oh, Jared, you're getting off track. No, I'm staying on track because here's my point. When this guy leaves this band, the band basically breaks up.
Right.
They replace him for a year or two, but the magic has been lost because the chemistry's not the same.
Been through it myself.
25% of the crowd disappears because they were fans of him, not the band.
Yep.
Like so keeping the band together is the best thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? The best way to keep the band together is at a minimum, it doesn't cost this guy any money. 100%
Right.
of being in the band is paid for by the band.
The only investment is maybe his time, but
Right.
we're working towards eliminating that as well through getting compensated enough.
Great point.
Because what's more valuable
again,
than
if
money?
I gave you
Time.
$800, if I gave you $800,
My time's worth it now.
and you're going, babe, I leave at 6, I'm home by 2 a.m. I don't make $800 in 8 hours at my 30 an hour.
Right.
I literally make more money here.
Yeah.
Like this is, if I could do this more, we would all want that.
Yep.
And the only reason we can't do it more is because there's this weird, and this is what I hope you eventually figure out, is that hump where it's like, in order to make more money doing music, I can't have a job anymore.
Right.
So I need to take this leap. But it's because literally the only thing preventing me from making more money is the actual day job. The only bands that ever stumble upon this problem in this era are cover bands.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, yeah. You know, it's interesting because this transcends music and the music industry too. Like any solopreneur, any you know, even an agency model where you have a team and you delegate tasks to team members, whatever business you have, there comes a point where the business, if it's a side business, your day gig is to your point taking too much of your time, which is more valuable honestly than the income it's giving you. And you have to make that decision to leave it so you can blow up your side gig, whether it's a band, whether it's, you know, like, you know, I deal a lot with wedding bands, and I tell people when they come in, because like we help them with their marketing, and it's like, well, how many members do you have? A 10-piece brass band? Okay, you're a 10K project. You're a 10K service. Every single member needs to make $1,000, you know, and obviously that's not necessarily the case because there's overhead and there's, you know, booking fees and blah, blah, blah. But that's my frame of reference. And people, you know, they're like, well, we're making 3K. And it's like, well, then you ain't doing it.
Right.
You know, it's not worth your time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the question is, well, how the hell do I find those kinds of clients?
But if
well,
you're just in a metal
trick.
band, right? You're in an original metal band, okay? And it costs a guy, you know, a set of strings or a set of drumsticks, right? He's got to get beers for him and his wife. Right, there's gas money to get there.
That's where I failed.
You know what I mean? Like it's all these little tiny things.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is just innocently, at a very minimum, if you can just get paid enough to where that guy can technically show up to a gig, play that gig, and it cost him fucking nothing.
Right.
Gas money was paid for. Their dinner was paid for because he had to order his wife chicken strips. They each got 5 drinks each.
Right.
Fucking, you know, that's several $100s. Right. But if you can just get there, most bands will stay together way fucking longer.
Absolutely.
Which dramatically
Completely.
increases the chances that that band will quote unquote make it,
especially in this
or
genre.
blow up.
Yeah, especially in the metal scene. I mean, how many bands do we know that they're big even, and they're still paying to play in some sense. Not
Right.
necessarily the venue, like we talk about when we say that phrase, but
Yeah, they're not literally handing over
Right.
money, because that is a.
but they're paying for their gas, and they're not getting enough in return to pay for that. And if one
Right.
guy in the band's hauling all the equipment, like there's so much that I could expand on there. But to your point, it's incredible that the mindset of hobbyists versus monetizing specifically what you're doing even exists, because it's a lot of effort that goes out, and then you look back and you're like, shit, I wasted years, man. Maybe you didn't, maybe you don't look back and you wasted years, but I think a majority of people probably do.
Mm-hmm.
If
some guys do, because the band ultimately failed, and they were like, oh, well, if I would have taken that 10 years and dedicated that to my real career,
right,
I might have made Partner. I might have made this. I might have made that. But at the same time, if two slackers would have gotten their fucking shit together and quit holding the fucking band back,
right,
you may not need to worry about whether you're going to become Partner, because you fucking hit 1 million streams on fucking YouTube, and your music video blew up, and now you're opening for Metallica or whatever.
That's a whole topic I can shed light on. But the funny thing is hindsight's 20/20. So I think those that are willing to admit their scenario, their situation, seek advice from those that either do make it or don't make it, and then react accordingly, I think those are going to be the ones that are most successful. You have all the tools in the world to get to people that can give you that intellect, that mentorship that you truly need if you truly want it. And the question is are you okay to look in the mirror and say, listen, I got to change some shit, because a lot of us just weren't, or aren't.
And that's what I try to do as often as possible. I was talking about this with somebody recently, and they were talking about how every time they present an idea to their boss, it gets shot down. And I was like, well, how often does this happen? And they were like, I don't know. There's been like a couple times this year. And I'm like, so wait, you're saying like in all of 2024, how many times has this happened? I don't know, like 3 or 4. I'm like, so basically what you're saying is 3 or 4 times a year you come up with an idea and it fails. And he's like, well, yeah, dude, it's super discouraging. And I'm like, do you know how many fucking ideas I come up with, dude? He's like, what? And I'm like, thousands, literally thousands. Do you know how many of them are shit? Almost as many as I come up with. That's why I seem like I have so many, because that's what he was really getting at. He's like, how do you have so many good ideas? Like, and I was like, I come up with a lot of really bad ones, dude.
Yeah.
And I let people shoot them down. And as soon as those ideas get shot down, I do not take that personally.
Right.
I am not my ideas.
Motivation, use it for it.
I'm not my ideas, though.
Right.
You shot my idea down, and I go, okay, what was the problem with that idea? Okay, yeah, I see the problem there. And then when I come up with my next analogy or my next idea, I take all those lessons I learned from the previous one, and I just, oh, no, this one doesn't make the cut either. So that's just one less. So I would come up with 10,000 ideas. It wouldn't just be 3,000 a year, right? It would be 10,000 a year, but I filter out 7,000 before I allow 3,000 more shitty ones. Seriously,
that's
there's
a strong
still 3,000
mindset.
shitty ideas that I allow to come through my fucking lips, and it takes good friends, good mentors, good bosses, my wife, family members to be like, "That's fucking dumb," and I go, "Oh fuck, you're right. That is stupid." Boom, and then I just move on to the next idea.
The great
there is
thing.
zero. Do you see what I'm saying? There's zero,
do.
What do you call that? Dwelling. There's zero resonance.
But that came with experience of
as
doing
soon
it.
as there was a bad idea, I just moved on to the next one. Okay, you're right.
I'm sure the first time that happened to you, though, you probably were met with some like remorse or some self-reflection that maybe wasn't overly positive, like, oh shit, I'm embarrassed, like whatever. But you kept going, right?
Let me put it this way.
That
it was
mindset,
so long ago, I don't remember.
That's my point. Like, if you truly want to succeed in this crazy world, no matter what you're doing, one, you have to be comfortable getting told no. You have to be comfortable being denied.
And that's kind of a good thing.
It's a
the
damn
real
good thing,
point.
because if you can use it as motivation, I've decided that's the word of today, the theme. you can use that in your benefit. Like every time I'm told no to something I'm trying to sell, I smile, I nod, and then I call twice or three times as many people or businesses to get the point across, because you have your goal, and it's up. Nobody's going to give you anything in this world. Like, it's just not going to happen, especially these days. So if you're in control, truly, you have to make the decision for yourself. Like, am I just going to lay down and take it? Or am I going to use the failures as motivation to better myself, look in the mirror, whatever refinement you got to do, and then just keep going. Put one foot in front of the next, keep your head down.
Right.
Because I've read a lot of self-help books, a lot of, business books, and the one thing that they all have in common is it's not the first or the second thing you try that usually sticks.
Right, it's like
it's the
99th.
third or the fourth or the 99th. You'll never know unless you just do it. Just do the damn work.
And I don't think anybody has to go full Tony Robbins on it in order to do it, right? Like, it doesn't have to be about like, oh, I pick myself up from the dirt, because sometimes that shit's just a fucking that's a play.
Right.
That's a story
It's
to
a story.
sell books.
Yeah.
The reality is, be unemotional to it.
Well, there's
Like, expect failure, and just almost like trial and error, throwing shit at a wall. Like, I am gonna throw
named it.
my goal. My goal is not to get a ball through that center hole.
Right.
That is barely bigger than the ball I'm throwing.
Right.
My goal is to throw 1,000 balls
until I get one.
at that hole.
Until I get one.
And then if I'm lucky, 3 of them will go in. But if I do that every single day, unemotionally, eventually I will get 40 out of 1,000 to go in. And then it'll be 400 out of 1,000. And then everybody's going to wonder, Jared, how did you get so good at throwing that ball through that hole? And I go, there was no motivation. I didn't miss 999 times and be like, I'm going to cheat. It was no.
huge.
I'm just setting this stupid fucking goal. I'm going to do this. And then if you just relentlessly do that, which my goal is to get in that hole, but I'm expecting the failure.
So,
Because in the failure, I'm refined. And this is where people go with, it's not the result, it's the journey, that kind of shit. But what they're not realizing, and what they never verbalize to everybody, is what happens along the journey. The point is you never bench pressed 400 pounds. That was your goal. But what you did do is you transformed your body from a guy who could barely bench 200 to a guy who easily benches 375.
Right.
Yeah, you never got to 400, but dude, you changed your life.
I tell
you
people
changed your
all the
body
time,
composition.
you gotta
like,
shoot for the moon, and if you fail, at least you're so much further ahead than where you started. If you only shoot for trying to get out your front door or down the block, you might not even get out your front door.
Are you a football guy?
No.
Fucking
No.
nerd fucking gay boy back there, fucking about to jerk off to this quote. Vince Lombardi, fucking God, I don't even want to say this out loud. God, Jason's just jerking off back there. I can hear it. Fap, fap, fap. Vince Lombardi said when he took over the Packers, this is the most inspirational thing I've ever heard in my life. Vince Lombardi said, and I quote, "We are going to relentlessly pursue perfection, knowing full well we will never achieve it, but somewhere along the lines we will capture excellence."
Than Wayne Gretzky's quote.
So, like, you're going to shoot for perfection knowing you'll never get it. Everybody else is trying to be good. But if you shoot for perfection, you know you're never going to get it. But somewhere in that pursuit, you're going to get to excellence while everybody else is just trying to be good. And that leads me to my final phrase, which is, you'll hear me say this a lot, I don't want to be good. I want to be great.
Yeah.
I have zero interest in being good.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be great. And that doesn't mean that I can play blast beats like fucking Aaron Lonick. That is not what being great at drums means.
Shout out to Aaron.
He's coming on the podcast in a couple weeks. One of the best drummers in town.
Fuck
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
man.
I don't need to
Respect.
blast beat on par with Aaron Lonick to be a great drummer.
Right.
What I need to focus on is being the best drummer that I could possibly be. And somewhere along there, I will be a great drummer.
I feel the same way towards sweeping on guitar, but I have to at least see you as a sport. Because on the drive here, I was like, dude, he's gonna ask me if I'm a sports guy. I know it, and I'm so not, dude. Like the only closest thing to sports I ever got was betting on it, and I decided not to because I just know myself and I need limitations. But dude, Wayne Gretzky, you only miss the shots you don't take, right? So that kind of transcends from what you just said, and that's the key. Like, to your point about throwing balls at a hole, right? You have to invest your effort and your time until you make enough balls through that hole to pay you enough to pay somebody that's a freaking pitcher, the best in the freaking league, to get it every time.
Yeah, and dude, those guys you're talking about, somebody did a breakdown of one of those guys one time, and this dude got paid $26,000 to throw a ball. Every time they just averaged it out.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was so good at what every single time he threw the ball from here to there.
Yeah.
He got paid $26,000, and it didn't matter what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, imagine being so good that I can throw this object from here to there 4 times and cover the average American salary, like, no problem.
How many balls did he throw to get there, though?
Millions,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
And he sucked for a long time.
Yes. So, well, and to your point about like Tony Robbins earlier in marketing in general.
Tony Robbins, awesome dude, though. I know people that know him.
Oh,
coolest dude
absolutely.
they
But
say literally coolest dude on the planet.
Here's the thing, though. Like when it comes to him, and some of these other gurus and shiny objects on the internet for marketing, you can spend the $27, the $47, the $97 to get whatever product they're pitching to try to get to their level, because that's how they market.
Those books are legit, though. I don't want to discredit
I have one. I get
self-help
it.
books.
Yeah, and that's one of the ones I was quoting, the quote I just mentioned. But
They are legit.
my point is what people don't understand, and we can relate this back to the music and the bands too, especially because there's a lot of products out there.
I want to get to this.
Toting, how to promote yourself as a band. But a lot of these big internet gurus, especially the cheaper products, they were in the trenches throwing millions of balls for many years. Now they're at their height, right?
Right.
And they're marketing to you how to market like they market now, except they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on ads, but they don't tell you that. And so there's a huge disconnect for a lot of people out there that are like, oh my God, this dude's a guru. Like, I'm going to do what he does. I'm going to be famous. And then it just never comes.
Yeah, right.
So
there's 30 years of experience leading up to this guy being a guru.
And he's thrown millions and millions of baseballs.
Yeah.
Or
and
whatever.
he's gotten very, like, Gary
football,
Vee is a great example.
Yeah.
Gary Vee's a great example. Like, I met him for about 2 seconds. I got to work his convention downtown.
Oh, cool.
And
I love Gary.
I met a lot of celebrities, ran into a few I knew, which was insane because I don't know that many celebrities. I know a handful. And the fact that they were there was insane.
Yeah.
Like, there was people I was working with at the event where I was like, we got to talking, and
imagine that. Why does that not surprise me?
It was one of those moments where I kind of like slipped up a couple times, and I was like, yeah, I know some people, like, blah, 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 blah. And of course I came across like a bullshitter, and then like, yeah, whatever, dude. And then we're working this door because I somehow got lucky where I ran the door where all the actual celebrities came through. So I met so many people. It was wild, right? Snoop Dogg, Eva Longoria, it was amazing. Anyways, a couple of these people that I know came through the door, and they were like, Jared? And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? And he's like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I fucking live here, bro. What are you doing here? And these are musicians I met on the road, being a jobber, like, never thought. And then it was
the world's
same
smaller
thing.
than we give it credit.
And actually, I'll bring it back home a little more. Trent has this ability from ATB.
Oh, sure.
I only met Trent twice before this thing I'm about to mention. And I ran into Trent, and I was like, hey, what's up, dude? And before I even had the ability to do the whole, we've met before, we hung out, we smoked weed together, we did a shot, whatever it was, right? He goes, Jared, right? And I was like, how do you remember me? And he was like, I liked you, dude. You were a cool guy.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where it was like, this person shouldn't remember me. I use them as like one of those little name drop things.
Right.
I don't want to be a douchebag, but I like drop their name. Yeah, I know.
Right.
I worked with that person. Dude, when they walk through the door, because this happened like 3 times during this convention, when they walk through and they go, Jared? It was like, bro, fucking somebody remembers me. Because, again, I'm a nobody, right? And these were, like, legitimate celebrities that I met and hung out with for hours. And, like, I got their numbers in my phone, but I never call them because you don't want to be that guy.
That's a really good point.
It was validating. It was cool. It was fun.
It's a really good point. I'd love to hover on that for a minute. Because
I don't remember what my point was, but...
Well, you said something really powerful. Like, these people, they came to you and you weren't expecting it, right?
Well, they remembered me.
So point
Trent
made,
being one of them.
the reason before that is because somewhere along the line, emotionally, you guys connected because you weren't trying to just be like, hey, Trent, I'm this dude, and like, I should be around you, and like, I need to gain your benefit for being Trent from After the Burial in our local little scene, right? Somehow you came across as, hey, dude, we're just kicking it. We're just cool. Like, we're from the same town. And so when that time came around, he was like, dude, I remember you because, you know, you weren't selling me on crap. Like, you were just being real.
Oh, Trent wasn't at this convention. I'm saying this similar thing happened with Trent
Sure.
at a different time.
But the point is like,
I didn't want to miss
for bands too, and this
Trent
is
did not
what I
show up
deal
at
with in
VCon.
marketing in general. You can't sell. People are smart these days, and so if you can take that story away for people that want to like promote their bands, promote themselves in general,
Don't.
business, whatever,
Don't.
don't sell.
Yeah, don't.
Just
build a
just
relationship.
be real and let the end user or your future potential client, however you want to look at it, you know, the fan, the venue, the whatever you're trying to promote your entity towards, your effort towards, let them come to you in their own time. You know, and as long as you throw a million balls, whatever their timing is won't matter because you're going to have people coming out of the woodwork all the fucking time. But people get scared because they're like, I want it right now. Well, that's just not how the world works.
So it's easy to make these analogies with sports, which is why I asked you if you're a sports guy.
Yeah, I'm not.
But when we start trying to draw in, I'm really good at drawing sports analogies into, okay, as a musician, here's how I'm going to implement that wisdom.
Yeah.
Horrible for everybody else. Like, unless you're a diehard sports guy, these are not good analogies. So we can use the analogy of the best way to get better and more successful at doing this thing is by throwing a million things.
Yeah, practice makes perfect.
Right. And then you try out for your high school baseball team, and then you try out for college, and then you maybe, if you're lucky, you get an option to play in the pros, right? There's a very linear path there. Where I think you're really trying to fill, and what I'm trying to fill, and I think what a lot of guys are trying to fill, is a gap of knowledge and a lack of a clear path. Yep. It's almost like some Lord of the Rings shit, where it's like there's a clear fucking path out of the Shire, up the mountain, and there's a clear fucking obvious path once you get to a certain tier. We can all see it from the ground, but there's this looming cloud over the center of the mountain, and nobody has any fucking idea how to make it through it unless you've been through it.
Right.
But the only way right now, the only way to make it through it is you have to guide people. I'll take you through it, right? This is the 80s. This is the 90s. I'll show you, but you have to do it, and we have to go together, right? So I'll take you with me on tour.
Yep.
Comedians still do this to this day. I'll take you with me on tour. I can't teach you. I can show you.
Right.
However, there is at least something we can do in teach, and this is kind of what we do on the podcast, right? We try to give people some nuggets of wisdom. Don't do this, don't do that. Think like this.
Right.
Try to behave like that. Run your band like this. And this will at least get you to a position to have some fucking options.
Yeah.
To
or at least
get
be
those
thinking about
national
it.
gigs.
If nothing else.
Well, even just to be in a fucking room where you might play in front of somebody who can allow you to, let's say your favorite band's Killswitch Engage.
Love that band.
How do I open for Killswitch Engage? Okay,
Right.
well, listen to the shit we say on this podcast, apply that to your local scene, and if you do everything the right way and you get just a tiny amount of luck, you don't even need that much luck, just a little amount of luck, somebody will be in a room one night, they'll be like, these guys are good. They drew 150 people. Killswitch Engage is coming through town. We're looking for a random open band, random local band. These are the hardest working guys in town. They're actually kind of good, and they apply. We're going to give them the opportunity. Yeah. Some people would even call that luck. I call that preparation for opportunity.
It's a million balls thrown at that hole.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
That's what gets you there. Unfortunately, it's sweat equity. It's time and it's sweat equity until you can pay for it otherwise.
Now, it seems like you're kind of trying to do what I'm doing. I try to come up with some rhetoric and some phrases and some game plans and some philosophies, but it seems like you're actually doing something with a little bit more substance. So explain what this whole thing is and explain what you've been up to.
So, well, first off, Tone Vault, 2024, I kind of took a step back from Tone Vault and just let, the cables and various audio products just do their thing online. And I really started focusing on the front end because what I noticed is in 23, I just didn't have a good plan as far as getting it out there in an inexpensive way. You know, when you go up against, you know, Amazon or Megami or all these big brands, right? They have, you know, $1 million budgets for advertising, and then there's little old Matt in frickin' Twin Cities, Minnesota, trying to sell, you know, half their priced products that are as equally, you know.
I mean, we use them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a and a product that has precious metals in it, right? So the overhead's a little bit there, and you know, here's little old me trying to figure out, well, how do I do what they do? I realized I was lacking all the skills, because you have two choices: you pay for it, or you put your time and sweat equity into it. And so I decided to pivot and put my sweat equity because I didn't have the money. So, 24, I studied marketing, advertising, and sales, and I kind of started having some epiphanies. I'm like, well, shit, I can use this for so many things, let alone Tone Vault. And so that group that you mentioned earlier, that was going to be my, and eventually it will, I just don't have the time yet, but it's going to be my way to give musicians kind of that map for that journey that you just mentioned, to get from the point of the base of the mountain to, you know, the top of the mountain. However, in the meantime, what I'm doing to kind of, I guess, fast track that gap bridge is something that, you know, I want to discuss today, and that's the whole point of this. If anybody that wants to text the word band to 612-482-3567, I'll give you more information on it. It's
Jason, can they see that?
no charge for that by any means. It's just getting you in contact with Result Vault. That's my second company that I formed in 2024. And Result Vault, all it is just a business that literally just focuses on marketing and sales. So I consult with sales, and then I also help you market, depending on what you do. It's not focused towards musicians, but I have the skill set.
You guys keep going.
I have the skill set to transition it into the musician world from Tone Vault and all the input that's brought me from all the end users of the cables and the conversations I've had and the needs that I've discovered, if you will, beyond my own experience in the scene. So, you know, the group, that'll become something eventually, but until then, what I'm offering through this text is to get and shed light on a little system I'm forming that allows basically bands to very easily connect B2B and B2C. So, and that can mean anything you want. It's a system that I'm building that basically can get you to connect with either venues or promoters or, you know, whatever the B2B, business to business aspect realm is, which, you know, obvious reasons why you'd want to be in front of them more, because more balls at the hole gets more balls through the hole. But on top of that, the B2C, the business to customer side, your fans, we want to be in front of them as well. And I mean, there's a million tools out there for this, but there's a million tools out there for this. And so what I'm trying to do is, you know, allow the band to focus on their craft, the actual gig, the experience they're giving their fans. And then everything else you're doing, like trying to build a personal brand or try to give guitar lessons up, you know, individually, or trying to, you know, sell merch online or whatever it might be to help monetize your situation. The B2C side, band to customer, we're building out that system as well. So it's super simple, it's organized and automated so that you literally can just focus on your freaking craft. You can play gigs every night or every other weekend or every month or every quarter.
Make YouTube videos.
Use your time for other things, because again, what is most valuable in this world? It's our freaking time. That's the one thing we give away that we never get back. So that's kind of what I'm building.
The old generation sold time.
Dude.
We spend time. The older generation sold time. When you talk to like a dude who's like 65 years old, he runs his company, and you get in an argument about something, you'll hear him. They'll be like, listen, the way I see it is, I've purchased your time, and I pay you $40 an hour or $12 an hour or $18 an hour. So it's not that I own you.
Right.
I'm renting you for sure.
Right.
But like, you sold me this time.
Right.
So this really changes when you're an employee thinking about, that ain't my job. Bitch, yes it is. Like, you sold me your fucking time. I pay you $40 an hour. And if I'm asking you to go clean the fucking bathroom, go clean the fucking bathroom.
It goes both ways. Like, you're either buying their time or they're selling you your time back to yourself.
And I'm not even talking
that
about
makes
like
sense.
right or wrong. I just mean philosophically.
Oh, for sure.
Like, it was a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
My point is our generation spends our time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't sell
Everybody
our
wants
time.
something for free.
Like, no, what I mean though is like, even as an employee, we don't sell our time anymore. We show up somewhere, we do a thing, and then we go spend our time doing something else.
Right.
We don't think about it the same way, and that's why I think that older generation was a little bit more successful
Traditionalism
on average
versus, yeah.
on average versus what we do. Like, our generation, because you and I are kind of old now, right? Like 40.
Come on now.
40-ish? I'm 40.
Yeah,
How old are you?
38, 39
Yeah, so
this year.
so we're basically the same age. We're kind of old now, right? We're not the young guys anymore, and we are significantly more successful than the younger generation before us, except for the most driven of them.
Well, think about your
There's
mindset.
still 24-year-olds that smoke us, but that's not what I'm talking about.
I don't know about you. I don't know top of mind what the age cutoff is, but like, I'm a millennial by technical term.
Yeah,
Are you as well?
barely.
So,
Yep,
but
I'm right there.
that's the transition between that traditional mindset when it comes to work ethic, which you're all about traditionalism, like earn the outcome, put in the work, throw the millions of balls. Millennials and above tend to go more like, well, if you pay me, I will show up. You know, they don't have that mentality of like earning it.
I do have that attitude as well, which is why I think I'm sort of in between.
Well, you're a millennial. I respect that.
It's interesting, though, because I have the same attitude, because it's like, listen, man, like, I sold you my time when I was a $10 an hour employee.
But see, that's the key. You have that mentality because you have the experience.
Well, no, I'm saying when I was young. So, like, I was like, yes, I sold you my time. I had this conversation with him. I was like, yes, you're right. I sold you my time. $10 an hour, 40 hours a week.
Right.
But you're only paying me $10 an hour, which means you're only going to get
there's
about
a threshold, right?
$10 an hour worth of work. Like
for sure.
I might give you $11, $12 an hour worth of work to show you I should get 11 or 12, but you're not getting $18 an hour worth of work out of me.
However,
so like we're gonna cut this conversation short, Mr. Boss Man, because you're only paying me $10 an hour. I will accept more
still over
responsibility.
delivering though. So good for you, because you're standing heads and shoulders above the crowd, because the crowd is like, I'm only doing 10.
Yeah,
or 8 or whatever.
When he asked me to do it though, I'll go, I'll give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the expectation that something is coming.
But that makes you the difference though.
Well, and this is what Jason was talking about earlier. He goes, you're a great communicator. And I was like, not always. I'm actually a horrible communicator. If you catch me on the wrong day, on the wrong moment. But there are moments like
perfect,
this.
Right?
There are moments like this where I say, like, I'll give you maybe it was $14 an hour worth of work. But I was like, but then you eventually got to give me 14.
For sure.
Because, like, I'm not giving you $18 an hour worth of work on 10.
That's called respect.
That's exploitation.
That's called respect.
Right. It's knowing your worth, right?
Well, I've always told, I've managed a lot of different situations. I've had lots of different teams and different things that I've done over my life. And the 3 things I always bring to every single job I've ever led or team I've ever, led, it's integrity. It's a sense of urgency, the mindset behind like do something before you're told to do it kind of a thing. But then respect. You put those 3 things together, you're going to be head and shoulders above the crowd.
Be pleasant to be around, have a good attitude, be chirpy. What?
Yeah.
It's not rocket science.
Right.
But let's tie
Humans
this.
are pack animals.
Let's take all this context and let's bring it back to being in a band, right?
Yeah.
So, like, for example, knowing your worth, demanding a raise. Okay, for example, you drew 50 people to a club.
Well,
you're a local band, original music. Okay, this club maybe brings 15, 20 people in for a punk rock show, whatever. Your band shows up and you bring 50.
Right.
And the cover charge was $10. Okay.
Right.
That's $500.
Right.
But they only pay you $200.
Right.
Now I understand they have a room fee to cover. They got a sound guy to pay. Cool. But then at the same time, your band also, your fans drink.
Right.
And on average, they spend about $40 per person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? 40 times 50.
Right.
Can anybody do that math? That's $2,000. Okay, now not all that's profit, right? There's a lot of, so bitch, give me my $500. That's the fucking point. That's what I'm getting. Bitch, don't tell me I'm not worth $500.
Right.
Fuck your room fee. Like, we tripled the crowd that you usually bring in, and we made you $2,500 that night. Don't tell me I don't deserve 20% of $2,500.
Now that's a
Give
good
me
word
my
to
500
isolate.
bucks.
Deserve. Okay, so how many times, in your career have you heard bands say, we deserve this, but they don't do that?
Right. They did the opposite. You brought 5 people,
Hobbyists.
and they were water drinkers.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So, like, nobody made any money, and you guest listed 3 of them.
Right.
So,
yeah,
bro,
yeah, for sure.
dude, let's start talking about real.
I
Because when I say bands deserve to get paid, here's the other thing. Bars deserve to make money.
damn straight.
And when you're not
Bands
drawing,
wouldn't be able to play if the bar didn't exist.
exactly, and vice versa.
Correct.
You wouldn't have a fucking place to play at if this bar can't remain profitable.
Yeah.
Especially the good ones who have a real sound guy and a real sound system. Not that bullshit they have
So,
on that. Oh, I
you know what
can't. Oh,
pisses-
I almost did it. I almost said it. I almost did it. I almost fucking burned a bridge.
Don't
Hold
burn
on.
bridges.
I'm muting the mics. Bring up OBS. I want to see it. I want to know it's muted because I'm saying it. I'm saying it. Hold on. You ready? Okay. The crowd can't hear this. You ready? That bullshit sound system that they have there versus what they used to have when I came up, huge difference. There's a reason
Yeah.
that venue is not nobody is like, oh, we're gonna go play at ... in certain suburb.
Right.
Nope. Part of it is your fucking bullshit sound system, dude. Because it used to be legit. Like, I know what real sound sounds like.
Right.
And this room sucks now.
That's
Like, it sucks.
Yeah, for sure.
Jason, do you know what I'm talking about? I do. Do you go to the old version of that club? Yes. It completely different experience. It was part of the scene. It mattered. It was a place that mattered.
Dude, yeah.
Now it's irrelevant.
Well, think about all the times.
Now it's just another sports bar in the suburbs. Dude.
Think about all the times you played a gig and you were blown away by your experience. I mean, I remember the first time I ever played drums at the Rock, and it was like after a Nickelback concert that went through the previous night or something, and I hit the kick and the snare, and I'm not even a drummer by trade,
Right.
and it lifted everything off the ground. And guess what? I'll never forget that moment. You as a drummer know what I'm talking about.
I tried to explain this to somebody who hasn't played those gigs before, where I was like,
Dude.
no, dude. I was like, here's what I'm saying is like, the riser is like a sponge. And dude, and you hit the kick drum and the bass, the subs go off,
Yeah.
and you start playing your full kit, and there's like a bounce, there's like
Yeah.
a rhythm.
You ever use butt shakers or butt kickers or whatever? What are they called?
Yeah. I think they're called ass kickers or butt kickers.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to explain to this kid. Oh, because that's what it was. He was asking me why I don't use my Rock-A-Sock drum throne. And because it's hydraulic, it's supposed to be comfortable.
Sure.
I was like, there's a bounce to it.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, you get used to the bounce. I go, yeah, until the stage is also
Right,
bouncing.
right. You can't.
And
yeah.
I'm oscillating at a weird frequency, and I can't find the rhythm in my own.
The hertz are off.
No, for real.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
we're
yeah,
in.
yeah.
We're in.
Yeah, cool. Because
I went a little too technical there, but
unfortunately, oftentimes
For a
we can't
fellow
really
nerd, I think
hear
you knew.
much. We feel it more than we hear.
yeah, dude.
You
And
know?
my body's going up while the stage is coming down, and then I'm coming down while the stage is going up. And if everything's timed perfectly, we can do that. Which meaning I can do it on a normal stage,
Right.
and I can do it on just a Rock-A-Sock. But what if I'm doing it like in my basement on cement? But I can't do a Rock-A-Sock plus a normal stage. Therefore, I can't do a Rock-A-Sock at all. It has to be a shitty,
you need an
solid state
You
stroke.
need an ass kicker. I learned that from Kenny Arnoff. I teched for him at
It's
at
not that.
Winterland
It's
back
not
in the
that.
day,
It's the
dude.
bounce.
Oh,
It's the bounce.
Yeah,
'cause
but
my thighs come off the throne.
motivation, man.
No, no. It's not. It's not being able to feel it.
Right.
It's not that at all, dude. I'm telling you. Especially now that I'm rocking in-ears. Trust me, that's not it.
Yeah, but when you literally got this under your ass when you hit a kick drum,
It's what you said. When you hit that kick drum, everything seemed like it
Lifts
came
up
up
the
off.
ground,
It did.
yeah.
It's because the subs literally went boom
Right.
to the stage.
Right.
That's a real thing that
air
happens.
is literally moving around you.
Dog. And they
Yeah.
put them under the stage, and there's nowhere for
Right.
that air to go.
Right. Except up your ass.
It's moving the stage, dog. Yeah, I
For
love
sure.
you, man.
That's awesome.
I'm having a great time, dude.
Hell
Cheers.
yeah, man. Cheers.
Cheers, brother. So let's get into this. Let's talk about this, dude. Because this happened last time, dude.
Yeah,
This
so-
happened last time. We have
Too
such
much history. that
It's
we
like me and Eric Kais, dude. The two of us, we
Oh,
have so much
yeah.
fun yakking. Like we got to be very careful. 'Cause
That
Eric
dude.
Eric Kais and I, our collective ADD. This is his words. Our collective ADD is fun, but it's not very entertaining. So I got to do a better job as a host to keep us on track. So let's start talking about this.
Not to get off
and what
track,
This is.
but Eric, dude, what a great addition to Reaping Asmodea.
It feels like Now, don't get me wrong. I can't say anything wrong about anybody who was in that band because I
Right.
love everybody
Yes.
who's ever been
For
in
sure.
that band. I'm not even a big death metal guy, but coincidentally, I've built
Yeah.
friendships with each individual person.
Well, they're all great
The person
people.
I'm probably the least close with is Dan Copy,
Oh, sure.
and I still would say I'm friends with Dan Copy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if somebody says something bad about Dan Copy around me, I'm going to stick up for him.
Another dude that is an expert
You know what
at
I mean?
blast beats.
Like
Fuck.
Dan Copy's not inviting me to his wedding,
Right.
but if you talk shit about Dan Copy and I'm around, I'm sticking up for Dan Copy.
Absolutely.
I feel like Dan Copy and I are good enough friends on that level, and I hope he
And-
would do the same. Maybe he wouldn't.
And he's
I don't
earned his
know.
respect, man.
I
for
wouldn't.
Sure.
I wouldn't make any assumptions, but I
Yeah.
hope Dan Copy would do the same for me. Like that's kind of how I feel
Mhm.
our relationship is. My point is like that's the bottom.
Yeah.
Like I'm like super close with Alex,
Yeah.
have been for years. Super close with Jake Muley now,
Dude,
who's
Muley.
back fucking
Thank
around
God.
with them.
Thank
Dude.
God.
Dude, I worked with Jake
That guy's
Muley at Guitar
great.
Center. He's like one of my favorite human beings.
He's-
I literally have him in my phone as Jakey Poo.
He's the reason that my two best friends, you know, it would be Rob Fast and Nick Jackson. And I met Nick Jackson, our bass player, through Muley, through Byrne at Guitar Center back in the Dyna days. And
I know Mike Byrne. Mike Byrne is not a fan of me. He does not like my personality. It's not like a character thing.
yeah, probably too unique or probably too similar.
No, I talk too much.
Just
I'm
kidding.
too like.
Well, fuck, look
I'm
at
too
me.
no,
And him and I
I'm
are.
I'm too goofy and like
Yeah.
Mike Byrne's too. Mike Byrne's legit.
Yeah, he's
Like Mike
a
Byrne's
driving
legit,
force, dude. He's great.
And when I met Mike Byrne, I didn't know shit, and I was trying to bullshit my way through sales.
Yeah, but he's like 70, so that's probably why.
Mike Byrne's the shit. Mike Byrne probably remembers me, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't like that."
I like
Still
how
to this day.
Sanders is like losers. Well, Sanders and Byrne obviously are close, and obviously we did a lot of things together back in the studio days with Transient Audio and things, and prior. But back to Eric though,
Kai's.
great
Oh,
addition
fuck
to that
guy.
band.
No, I'm just kidding.
I know you guys are close, whatever. But
Love him.
great addition, man. Like I just when
Feels
I heard
like
that
he
news,
should have been the guy
fuck
the whole
yeah,
time.
Fuck yeah.
And again, I don't want to say anything negative about any previous
Right.
singers because
Right.
I'm close with them all.
No, they're all great.
I don't think I'm close with their original singer. Actually, was his name Tim? I don't think I actually know
Snook?
him at all.
Snook, yeah.
right.
It's
I
all
don't
good.
think I actually know him at all.
What matters is the now, man. And well, not that did matter. I'm not kind of trying to come across that way. But my point is to your point, it does feel like it's like a shoe that was finally filled kind of a thing. Like I just think he's a great addition. I think his style is I think his energy, his purpose, you know, the whole fitness thing. Like that band is fit, right? And you get Eric of all people in front of a crowd. There's nobody that ain't gonna go home and think I'm gonna fucking
It
listen
is
to this
weird
album
how
and
that
work
band's
out.
like. It is weird how that band's so into fitness.
Dude, they're all ripped. It's ridiculous.
It's kind of gay.
And I'm kind of jealous.
It's a little gay. I'm
After
just
this,
kidding.
are we going to go listen to the
I
new
love
album
you
and,
guys.
and work out?
I love
All right.
those guys. I love those guys. I don't give a fuck. I'll talk shit. I'll talk as much shit as I want because every single one of those guys knows how much I love them. So if anybody wants to be like, oh, he's doing the thing where he's trying
Yeah.
to be cool and talk shit, fuck you.
Dude.
Those are my friends. I'll talk
Yeah.
shit about my friends all day long because they're my buddies.
You're
and they know
closer.
what's up.
You're closer than I am, but I have a respect because I have, you know, the whole business side of
I think
things. I've
just with
tracked them
Alex.
all, and I've done.
Let me
sold,
put it this
whatever.
way. I invited Alex to my wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't invite anybody else in that band to my wedding, even though I would call all those guys my friends.
Well, you can always get remarried.
I'm just saying, like, pretty much everybody is tighter with somebody in
Yeah,
that band.
for
I'm
sure.
not sitting here trying to pretend all the guys from Reaping Asmodee are my best friends. That's not what I'm trying to paint. I'm not trying to paint that picture. Alex Kelly is one of my very good friends.
Yeah.
We don't hang out enough.
Yeah.
It's because he's very busy. It's because I'm very busy. But when we do hang out, it takes about 20 minutes, and it feels like we
You never
we
didn't.
never left.
Yeah. I love
Right?
those kinds of
It's like
relationships.
it's like a chemistry thing. It was like, oh wait, you go here, I go there. Oh, the rhythm's back, baby.
Dude, that's how Byrne and I are. Like last time I talked to Byrne on the phone, we talked, I don't know, half hour, and I'm just like, fuck, dude, I haven't like seriously discussed.
But shout
and
out to
talked
Steven
shop.
because I don't want to dismiss Steven. I got
Oh,
to
for
say this
sure.
though as we pivot. I got to just say this, like
Previous vocals.
I became very close with Steven
Yeah.
through being on the podcast many times. So I got to be careful how I use these words because they're all my friends.
Yeah.
So I want to compliment and say Eric seems like he should have been there the whole time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like Steven wasn't out of place. Steven fit the bill perfectly.
Fuck yeah.
Steven gave so much to that band. He added to that band. That band wouldn't be what it is without Steven.
His energy was...
He's one of my favorite podcast guests still to this day. So I don't want to, when I say it feels like Eric should have been there the whole time, I want to make sure that I'm not saying that in a way that detracts. It just feels like they switched from the left glove to the right glove.
Yeah. That's
you
well
know
said.
what I mean?
Yep.
That's what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like almost like a kill switch engaged. They went from Adam D to Howard, back to Adam D.
Right.
You know, like Steven could show up one day.
Absolutely.
And it's a seamless, like, nope, cool. It's still reaping.
Mm-hmm.
It's still, that's kind of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I just want to be very clear and be very, like,
yeah, no, nothing but respect, man.
Like,
that band's insanely good. It's despite
and I love
in every
person
form,
in that
every form it's ever taken. It's been. I mean, see, to our point earlier about not necessarily monetization, but putting in the work. That's a fucking band that's putting in the work.
It's not a hobby.
I've never known that band not to be kicking ass or working, over delivering and working harder than anybody else. I mean, I don't know any bands that work harder than Reaping As.
You know what? Absurd analogy, but fun. Humorous almost. You know what? We're talking about hobby bands versus like whatever. You know what? Reaping Asmodee is? They're the food truck of music. So for example,
sure,
you love cooking.
Yeah,
you love cooking. You make a mean fucking brisket, but you're not gonna buy a food truck.
Right.
Like, what the? I got a full-time I cook for my friends in my backyard.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm never buying a fucking food truck unless I decide to buy a fucking food truck.
Right.
But the moment I buy that food truck, it is no longer a hobby.
Right.
I am trying to like legitimately, now I'm still doing it because I love cooking and everybody loves my food. So let's see if we can make some money off of it.
Yeah.
But the moment I buy the food truck, it's no longer a hobby. This is the analogy, and you can take this if you want to use this in your course. This is seriously.
Yeah.
You're a hobby cook when you're doing it in your backyard and you're selling a plate, right? Because it maybe offsets your ability to eat brisket a little bit more often. You sell some plates to your neighbors, right?
Yeah, dude. Oh, you're smoking shit these days. That's right.
My neighbor's actually selling food, but
okay.
But this is my point. I'm not even talking about him. This is what popped in my head. But the moment you buy that fucking truck, dude, the moment you buy a food truck, it's not really a fucking hobby anymore.
Right.
Here's my point.
Can't be.
The moment you fucking play a live show at a real bar where a cover is charged and you're selling a fucking t-shirt, dude, you're a food truck.
Mm-hmm.
You are no longer a hobby. Stop lying to yourself.
Damn straight.
And stop lying to your band members. And if it really is still a hobby, fucking get out.
Yeah.
Because you're holding your friends back.
Well,
that's what I'm really trying. Dude, we did it again.
That's what I'm going to say.
Clip that, motherfuckers.
To your point, can you tell me one time Reaping didn't treat it as a battle of the bands? Any gig. Like, they show up and they're like, no, we're going to do everything in our power to get as many people here as possible and provide the best experience for our fans as we can.
And try to win over people who didn't come here to see us.
Yeah.
I think that's the other big key.
Absolutely. Yep. So,
another beer?
No, I'm perfect. I got this. I'm sipping it.
I don't even think I made it past the noise gate on that.
I've been called worse.
Seriously, I don't think I made it past the noise gate on that, dude. That's the beautiful thing is if you're really fucking good, you can sneak in under the noise gate. If it was already open, then they definitely heard it. But
what's a noise gate?
So for the people that don't know, I called him a bitch, but I whispered it really quietly. So maybe it didn't make it through. But, well, yeah, because you're producing.
Is that God?
Jason.
Is that? Oh, it's Jason, not Jesus. Got it. Okay.
Welcome to the podcast, homie. No, it's so nice, dude. I upgraded the headphone amp, so we got more outs.
Classy.
And then I fucking found my old fucking wires from the original version of the podcast and realized I could re-hook up the old fucking interface. So I got the Scarlett, that's what we use, and then I got the producers on another interface.
I love his cockpit over there. So tell me, why the tone vault in the band space instead of the podcast space?
Amount of cables. If you want to send me 4 more cables, I'll fucking I'll do it right now.
Text band to 612-482 and
If you said, dude, you sponsor the podcast, dude. Here's the thing. Honestly, I didn't want to ask for more.
yeah.
It's really that simple, dude. Like, we made a deal.
You
I
know,
asked you first when you decided to sponsor the podcast. You said, what are you looking for? What do you want? And I said, ... You hit that number, and then I wasn't going to come back and ask for more.
But tell me, instead of a literal scenario, why did you choose to use them over there instead of here?
Because
see where I'm going with this?
Yeah. Okay, so here's why. Literally.
Hopefully you give me the right answer.
When processing something as simple as voice, the value was, let's take these 4 cables, leave them in the podcast, and if we're going to process an audio signal, which has a more importance, it's more important that I capture the highest quality, right? I can drop a decibel or 2. I can drop a frequency or 2 and make it up on the back end in a podcast, and nobody will ever know the fucking difference. But over there, every decibel counts.
You need the bandwidth.
Everything counts. So I put my best cables in my music studio.
Well said, sir.
Not over here.
Appreciate that.
Son of a bitch. You tried to set me up. You son of a bitch.
You sell me for I got to make it up for calling
So I
me
put
bitch.
your tone vault audio cables in the most important place.
That's straight.
Why. And I wasn't willing to come back and ask for more because I'm so grateful for all the sponsors, whether it's the cigar sponsors, whether it's you, whether it's anybody else. Like, I don't ever want to ask for too much.
Every time I watch your video, you got the mug in the front, dude. I'll send you a couple more. It's no problem.
I told you that. That was part of our deal.
I got to get you a Result Vault mug now.
I need one of them fucking hats is what I need.
Dude, I'll just leave it here.
No,
you don't want it. I probably got some
crazy
sweat marks. You can see the sweat. Yeah,
I can see your
I work
sweat
hard,
marks.
guys. Come on.
I don't want it. I want my own.
I actually do have a lot of just pure black, different makes and models, but I do have quite a few hats still on the ready, so I'll send you one. Just tell me like what kind of size you dig.
And honestly, if you have any of that kind of shit sitting around, give me a bulk.
Yeah.
So I can give that off to certain guests.
That's a great point. Yeah, hell yeah.
Because some of these guys are gigging, right? And they're fucking broke, dude.
Yeah.
You know what it's like, man. Some of these guys are fucking dying for T-shirts.
Yeah.
You know, one of my bands made it into a European publication because, okay, so I'm going to fuck this story up. So we got a gig offered to us because, how did this happen? Okay. Trying to put my memories together here. I got it. I was in a band called 7 Months of Nothing. We gave a T-shirt to Chris Emery from American Head Charge.
Sure.
Chris Emery, because they were not the richest band at that time in their career, wore that during an interview, and they took a picture. That picture got published in a European publication, and this was in the days of, like, MySpace. And 7 Months of Nothing got a bunch of attention. We never took advantage of it because we weren't ready. But we got a bunch of, like, fans or whatever you want to call them, followers or friends.
Audience editions.
Whatever the fuck they were called back then.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of them from those countries.
That's crazy.
Those people are like, oh, that's a cool shirt. Who's that? And then they looked it up. They found our MySpace page. They added us. So it was just one of those deals where it's like, get that shit out there.
Yeah.
Because it's not about we talked about this before the podcast. It's not about appearing once. It's about appearing a lot.
Dude.
It's blanket advertising. This is
Damn
marketing.
straight.
You said you went to school for this. So I'll explain this so you don't have to. Because it sounds pretentious when it comes from you guys. It does. But you can back me up.
For sure.
So people don't think I'm making this up.
Right. Or I'll call you out one of the two.
It's called blanket advertising, and it takes an average of 8 touches.
Yeah.
So by
Google
the time,
will tell you 10.
Okay, so maybe it's 10. It basically what it means is that by the time you buy a TV from Best Buy, they've touched you 8 times through media. Once is the newspaper because this is back in the day when I went to school. You open the newspaper, you see a Best Buy ad. That's one touch.
Right.
You're driving down the road.
See a billboard.
You see them out of the corner of your eye. Billboard, that's a second touch. Then you see a TV commercial. That's a third touch. Then the internet came out. Oh, boom, there's a fucking subtle little thing at the bottom of the corner. Boom, there's a fourth. And then they do that twice. That same rotation twice. That's 8 touches.
Right.
Then when you decide to buy a TV, you go, oh, I'm going to go to Best Buy. That's how. So it's not about once. And
Right.
I've had to have this conversation with different sponsors, not you, but like you're not gonna like suddenly move the needle because you started sponsoring any
Right.
podcast.
Right.
You need to sponsor a lot
All of
of
them.
podcasts.
All of them. Yeah.
And it's going to cost you a lot of money
Yeah.
before you see a return. If you're trying to do these one-offs, and this is true with your band too, if you decide you're going to like test the waters with the Facebook ads, so let's bring this back to all of this. If you're going to test the waters with a Facebook ad and you're going to spend $20, you're probably not going to get any return on
Right.
it. It's a waste of time. You need to
Well-
spend like a minimum of probably like $200.
It's
And then
about
focus
15
that
a
on
day.
one thing.
Yeah. The problem though in the music
Don't
industry
focus
in
that on
relation
some broad,
to
like
broad marketing for like some of the things you talk, you're talking about brands and just other avenues. We're talking the music business. It's a different animal, Unfortunately, Google with 10 touch points or whatever business, for billboards and newspapers and ads and all the things that you can do. That's one thing. But the music industry is a whole different animal because people are lazy. That it's not like you say, okay, here's my band. Okay, here's my band again. Okay, here's my band 10 times. Oh, I'm going to check your band out. That's not how it works. You got to do a whole different way of marketing your band. But with that mindset that you just described, you can at least get the lead and then give them the 10 touch points for various reasons. So, for example, that's why I like this system. Text the band to 612-482-3567. What I'm trying to build is a B2B system, so band to business. So, like, any email or phone number for any promoter, venue, any entity that you're trying to do business with, if we're talking about that mindset instead of hobbying. Then, because this is for serious people, not fucking hobbyists, in my opinion. Although it'll help hobbyists, but whatever. The second piece is the band to customer, B2C. Usually you talk business to customer, but we're talking fans here. If you put out a new T-shirt, if you have a new gig going out, if you have, you're creating a course for your, teaching guitar, if you're doing this or that, those are all things that you need to combine new age marketing for the music industry with blanket marketing, like you discussed, to achieve the three pillars that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, and what I described is like literally day one marketing, like marketing 101 first day shit.
Yeah.
I'm not even getting into deep level.
Right.
I'm just like, here's the general concept of how this works, and that is like, it's like nuclear fallout to people. They're like, oh, knowledge, oh, gross.
Well, see, that's the thing.
Gross. My band could grow, gross. Like, dude, I'm giving you the fucking most basic shit.
Yeah.
Like, for example, do you want to live through the night, start a fire shit? And you're
Right.
like, oh, I could get burned though.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but dude, like once you learn how to
but you'll
master
survive.
fire,
Yeah.
not only will you make it through that night, you can cook food, you can
Yeah.
you can do a lot with fire.
A
Like
lot.
eventually someday when you really learn how to harness it, you can build a fucking combustion engine, dog.
Ooh,
and you're like,
throw wheels on that?
but it could explode.
Right.
Like, dude, go fuck off. Dude.
Yeah.
I'm-
Well, right. That's a hobbyist,
and that's the
absolutely.
difference. That's what we're talking about is like most of your bands, you guys aren't hobbyists. You guys are trying to do something. That's the reason you bought the food truck.
Right.
Like, you guys are food trucks, man.
Yeah.
Like, stop pretending you're not food trucks. Stop pretending you're playing music for people in your backyard. If you were just trying to make brisket in your backyard, you would never leave your basement, dude. And stop feeling guilty for asking for money. You fucking deserve it.
Damn
These
straight.
bars are making money hand over fist off you guys.
Well, or not.
Some of these bars
look
are
at-
the only reason people go to that bar is to see music.
And look at the ones that are closing.
It's called a music venue.
And people blame the venue for closing. It's like, well, no, it's too many hobbyists going through the doors that don't get people to come in the door.
Or
I'm sure there's more to it, obviously.
it's
but
taxes.
Yeah. But
There's
again,
like in being in downtown Minneapolis is almost impossible.
especially these days, yeah.
I mean, that is a thing. It's a political thing. It absolutely
made.
comes down
Yeah,
to politics. Like
absolutely.
the taxes on owning a music venue to serve alcohol, to do this thing downtown, it's almost impossible to run a profitable business down there. So that is a thing. But that only applies if you're doing everything you're talking about and
Correct.
what I'm talking about, which is like you are bringing, as an opening band, 20 to 50 people.
Right.
And the headliner is bringing 200 people.
Right. See, the
But if
problem if the venue says, all right, here's what I need to do to pay my taxes, I'm no longer going to bring bands in that don't do that.
Right.
Then they're kind of screwing themselves too. So that's that gap that
Well,
they
then
need
they
to
shift to
figure
cover
out.
bands.
Well, right.
Or they switch to hip hop.
And so there's multiple reasons why they're closing. But my point is if you're in a band and you're in the scene and you want to help out these venues, you got to think of ways to bring the people to the show. Thank you.
I didn't want to say anything. I wanted you to
I
make
can hear
your
myself,
point.
so
I wanted you to make your point.
Yeah, no, it's good. But I don't know, we're all in this together. We got to work together. And if we don't have, we can't have this you give me mindset. It's I have to earn mindset. And if I think everybody had that, you just find things just kind of tend to start working out better.
Well, and I think the first step to that is making everything mutually beneficial and being super transparent about it. So, for example, we're okay with the fact that this bar is going to make way more money than us tonight.
Yes.
However, this bar has to acknowledge the fact that the only reason
great point.
250 people or 750 people or 3,500 people, depending on the bar, right? Because I just went the tier in that analogy. So this tracks. The only reason people are there tonight is because we're there.
Right.
And your average bar attendee might spend $20 per person. But when they come to see our band, they spend $40 per person because they're buying a round for people because people are partying. This is their fucking night.
Who does that?
Somebody met their wife tonight. Like, this shit happens at concerts. Like, these are life-altering moments.
Is that how you met your wife?
No.
Oh.
This is how somebody decided I'm going to be a musician tonight.
Yeah.
Somebody decided I'm going to buy a bar tonight. Somebody decided I don't have a fucking lick of musical talent, but I want to be in the music business. I'm going to be a fucking concert promoter. I want to be the guy who threw this fucking party tonight.
Yeah.
You just inspired 25 people tonight. One guy just decided he's going to go fucking check out whoever the fuck this local band is. But that's
right.
Dude, we're driving the economy.
Yeah. Yeah. You're always going to have a diversification of the reasons as to why people attend your show, but you need to bring people to the show. You have to have a plan. And knowing that, that's exactly what I'm trying to help people with. I'm trying to figure out a system that can bridge that gap as easily as possible. I mean, like I said, and we're driving home the point that you got to work hard, right? You got to try hard. You got to do all those things.
Well,
that only
like
makes
you
the
said,
system
making it transactional,
work better.
though.
Yeah.
You said this about me earlier, is I try to make everything transactional. And what I think you meant by this, the way I took it, and the way I hope everybody else, because I think that phrase also gets very gross.
Of course.
But what I think you meant by it, the way I took it, is I want you to get as much out of this as I could possibly get.
Yep.
I never want you to come away from a situation dealing with me where you feel like you got the short end of the stick.
Right.
That's when you said that. That's how I took it.
No, I think you're spot on.
I do try to do that. I do try to give people the bigger chunk of the candy bar.
Well,
because I want to do business again.
Exactly.
And that's what I think you meant when you said I try to make things transactional.
Humans
I want you to feel
animals,
like you won.
And we have to we have
and
to
I
work
fail
together.
a lot at that, but I try.
I try. We all do. Nobody's perfect, but
it's the intent, though. It's the intent.
You're spot on. Integrity and just that intent, because we're pack animals, and if we give more than we expect to receive, you're going to do well. You're going at least better than the opposite, right? The what's the word I'm looking for? The alternate. The point is here is, as long as you're giving respect, you should at least get a little in return. And again, you throw a million balls at that hole, you're going to get enough back that it's going to benefit you to meet your own goals.
Right.
And who'd you rather be in the world? Like somebody that's doing that and be known for that? Is that your legacy? Or are you just somebody that uses all the time?
Well, and that works with relationships too. Like,
exactly.
Hey man,
we're human.
I got a shot. Hey, let's do this. Oh, that failed. But guess what? When I come back, I come to you first, and I go, hey, man, here's the thing. I got another idea. One of these is going to hit.
Yeah.
And as long as those losses aren't heavy, right, as long as those losses are light, we can keep doing business together. And then when one of them hits, now we got equity. Now you can go, okay, now this motherfucker can miss a few times, because this is how movies are made, too.
Tell me, Jared, what do you learn more from? Somebody like a book that you read or a mistake you made?
Oh, bro, it's obviously the mistake,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So anytime something negative happens or
I also
doesn't hit
learn
the
from
mark
other
or whatever,
people's mistakes.
damn straight. But that's the book. That's how books are written, right?
True. Good
So,
point. Yeah, great point.
But you learn from past experience. That's why the first or the second thing doesn't hit, but the third or the fourth might. Every
Right.
time you have a failure, and that's why you got to just keep going. You
And
got to
that's the
keep throwing
beauty
balls
of
at
the
that
book,
hole.
right? Like the beauty of the book is you told me you're my older brother. Here's the analogy. You're my older brother. And you go, that bitch is going to break your heart.
Right.
But I don't listen.
Yeah.
Because I'm pussy hungry, right?
Right.
But then when she breaks my heart and I go, fuck, my older brother was
Told
right.
you so. Yeah.
Okay? Here's the point. The next time it happens, I can go, oh, this is what he was describing. This is the mistake I made last time.
And now he's your
I'm not gonna-
mentor.
so now I won't fail.
Well, and he's
It's
your
not about never failing. It's about not failing repetitively because you're too stupid to figure it out.
and he's now an asset to your future. So next time he tells you something, you're more apt to listen.
And maybe if you're lucky, because you were probably listening the first time, that's why he's your mentor to begin with, right? Or he's your older brother, right?
Yeah.
But maybe if you're lucky, you can extrapolate that information and prevent it from happening the first time.
Right.
But most
Oh,
of the
second
time,
time,
this
but
is
yeah.
where wisdom. No,
Yeah.
the first
No,
time.
you're right. Tribal
Because he goes,
knowledge.
she's gonna break.
Yeah.
No, because again,
Yep.
the first time would be she's gonna break your heart. Here's so then you would be like, all right, fuck this bitch, get rid of her, right? But the first time you didn't listen, so you let her break your heart. So there's the second time, right?
Mhm.
So then it happens again in the future. You're more apt to listen again, so it doesn't happen the first time that time.
Right.
You go, no. I learned my lesson in this.
Well, think about any hierarchy of any job. You have leaders.
That was a horrible
It's a
analogy. Thank you,
tribal-
listeners, for bearing with me. That was
tribal
terrible. I need
knowledge.
to do better.
to try to prevent your issues that could arise. And then most humans are like, fuck your tribal knowledge. I do what I want, especially nowadays. And you learn it anyways.
So give me an example if I text band to this number,
Yeah.
612-482-3567. Dude, that should be 34567. That's killing me.
First off,
23567. Dude, the fact that it's missing, like this is like a straight flush almost.
dude,
It's killing
poker
me.
night.
My
That's something I want to
OCD
start.
is I hate this.
You like poker?
612-482-3567. I like
do you play
blackjack more
yeah,
than poker,
yeah,
but do you want to go to the casino with
dude,
me?
afterwards, yeah, sure. No,
Not tonight. Not
no,
tonight.
No,
but
it's a bad idea.
Do you want to go? Do
Eventually.
you like playing blackjack?
Fuck yeah.
Dude, we'll go down to Mystic. Okay, so okay.
ADHD what?
Secret time? Okay. My cousin married a woman from Thailand. Once every 6 months, he comes back and he's here for a whole month, and we go to the casino. Like that's
That's
him
awesome.
and I's thing.
Yeah.
And we go play blackjack.
For a month straight?
No, just one night. Just one night. And it's honestly, we're not like horrible gamblers. Like, it's usually lasts a couple hours, 2-3 hours tops.
That's pretty good.
But like, it's just our thing. It's always been our thing since we were children. Like the moment we turned 18, we were coming back from camping, and fucking we stopped at the casino and we won a bunch of money together, and it's been like our weird little cousin thing. And now he lives in another country. I see him twice a year.
Yeah.
But there's like a vibe.
Yeah.
It's just a cool vibe. I don't know how to explain it. And there's just like not a lot
nothing
of
changed
people.
between the last time you saw him.
There's just not a lot of people that like enjoy blackjack enough.
Oh,
Where
fuck,
they're like,
dude.
yeah, I'll just come play blackjack for a couple hours. It's just not, you know what I mean? So it's like I got like 3 people maybe that I would invite. But dude, if you want to come
We
play
should
blackjack,
definitely.
we'll
Yeah,
do it.
I have some.
Because we'll
enough
just go down to Mystic Lake next time. Last time we went to Grand Casino Mille Lacs, because that's up where his dad lives. He stays with his dad. But when he comes back into the country, but this time we're going back down to Mystic.
Is that that's where it's at?
Well,
As
I
far-
just it's got to be mutual. Like last
Yeah.
time I came
Oh,
to
I
him,
see what
this
you
time
mean.
he's coming to me.
Dude, I got a whole poker room in my place, so I mean,
I suck at poker, dude.
I do too, but I love it. I got enough sentimental like backing to it that I just love it, regardless of if I win or not. I just love it.
I'll only do it if we get strippers.
Well, do you know? It's okay. Here's a great way to bring it back
As long
to.
as my wife knows there's strippers, she's okay with it. And there
Bless
just can't
her
be
heart.
There just can't be secret strippers. Secret strippers are where weird shit happens.
Secret strippers are no good.
They gotta. It's
the
gotta
obvious
be like,
ones.
honey, we're doing poker night. There's gonna be strippers.
Yep. Bless her heart. I just got to put that on record. But I will tell you, when it comes to, what we're talking about, okay, playing poker because you enjoy it, playing poker not because you expect to win. What did we say earlier? You're playing gigs not expecting to get paid more than anybody else at the gig, but you're intentfully showing up, just like we intend to show up for poker because it's fun or whatever the reason is. So, yeah, motivation. That's the word.
So back to my question.
Yeah.
If I text band
Yep.
to 612-482-3567.
Yeah.
What happens? What's
Within
going on here?
30 seconds, my team or system will text you in response saying, hey, thanks for reaching out. Appreciate your interest. Within 10 more seconds from that, you'll get a second text that says, hey, who are you and what do you do? What's your band name? Yeah, test it.
We're going to do it.
Do it.
We're going to do it because I have a band to do this experiment.
By the way, this is the system I help, and this is what I'm going to help you set up.
612. So my band could have a system like this, is what you're saying.
Yep. Yeah, try it out right now.
So 612. Okay, we're going to do this live on air.
Do it.
482. And I encourage you guys to do this. If you guys are in a band or you even have just a side project or you're thinking about something, do this in real time with me.
Yeah, because I'm actually...
let's crash his server.
Well,
let's do it.
Beyond that, I'm actually picking probably 5 bands to pilot this
3,
with.
5, 6, 7.
So...
Oh, we're going to be one of them,
yeah,
sweetheart.
well, there you go. You're
a
probably
dope band.
first, so I just set this up before coming here. So
I got 2 dope bands, actually. One of them's definitely going to make it.
5 are going to get free service, and then
the
from
one
there...
that Montoya sings for sucks.
Won't be free.
He sings for both of them. All right. So what do we text? We're going to text band.
Band. Yeah.
Okay. So here we go. Within 30 seconds, we're getting a response that's going to say,
yeah, if your internet's decent.
Did you just question my fucking internet?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, thanks for your interest. Matt with Result Vault here. He's literally right here. And I can't wait to learn more about you and your project to see if I or my team may be able to assist you with your aspirations. So, what's your and your band project's name, and what are you trying to achieve? Okay.
Yeah.
So, this band is called The Montoya Machine.
I'm going to get a response on my phone over here.
Want to, this is a metaphor, but it's true, get the world pregnant.
Ooh, I like that. We'll see what they say in response.
This is a metaphor, but because now that we're in the world of AI, everything has to be spoken. You gotta, dude, it's going to get rough.
Yeah.
The next 5 years are going to be horrible. Nothing can be said literally. And in any formal response, I really appreciate your, all of this, obviously AI.
It's not AI,
which is fine
technically, but yeah, I
fine.
Hear what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm not being literal with
right,
it, but anything professional is gonna be AI.
Yeah,
the only way anything will be human, there will be perfectly used sarcasm or an emoji. It's gonna get tough real quick.
Do you have an emoji in that text?
Nope, not yet. Oh yeah, I got your devil horns. Or your metal horns.
That's my shit, dude. Yeah. So, anyways, it's a system. I help you build it out.
Okay, I haven't gotten anything back yet.
No, you won't. You won't until I reply. So
okay.
So now, do you want me to reply?
Now we're really
personal. Yeah.
Okay.
So what it does is, and this is kind of real time for anybody that's wondering what I do and how I do it. Basically, I allow you to capture leads. Okay. And then promote yourselves in real time or not. So your head hits the pillow and you're sleeping at night, but you want to promote your band, it's doing it.
Right.
Or you're going to do a new launch, or you're going to do a new, of merch, or you're going to play a show, or you're going to do whatever. There's a million sites and systems that are already helping you promote those things, but they're so spammy. They're so blast. I like to use the word blast because that's literally what's happening. You're blasting the world with whatever you're trying to. You're coming from your perspective as a band.
Right.
And in marketing, what if you could hit people from their perspective? I don't know about you, but I don't want to be sold to. Most people don't these days, and most people are smart because so many people sell like that. So we've all been inundated with selling and spamming and blasting of marketing. So what if I'm a fan or a venue? So a business or a fan, a customer, and I just happen to get a personalized this or that says, hey, you know, we're gonna do this, and here's what's up with it, and so if you're interested, check it out. I'm way more apt to be like, dude, cool. Like, I'm little old Matt in the middle of Otsego, Minnesota, and you know, Reaping Asmodea just sent me a freaking text or an email or a phone call or a voicemail that says, check out our new merch, or check out this gig, or
I get these
check
from
out this stuff.
Coheed.
Well,
No, I really do.
Well, there you go.
And honestly,
and they're gigantic, so there you go.
I don't know how gigantic they are. They
Oh,
play
dude,
some pretty
cult
small
following.
venues.
Coheed and Cambria?
They play some pretty small venues.
You know how many
dude.
tattoos I see on the internet of their shit
They
on
play,
people?
dude, they play some pretty small venues, dude.
It's because they're awesome.
If I told you,
Respect for that band.
so I went to see them at the amphitheater in St. Cloud, dude. It was like the fucking stars aligned,
Mhm.
and they were like, Jared Singer deserves the concert
Yeah.
of his summer.
Yeah.
Primus and Coheed and Cambria
Wow.
came to St. Cloud and played an outdoor amphitheater.
Yeah.
And
Must have been
I
amazing.
took a bunch of mushrooms.
We talked about this last time.
Did we?
we talked about
Did we?
yeah, we talked about mushrooms last time, yeah.
Okay, well, this happened.
Okay.
Last time it was probably theoretical. This time is literal. So
That's been a couple of years.
not only did all of this line up, but as I'm sitting there, these they hit the climax of this song, and
Yeah.
all out of nowhere, this huge amount of doves. They were pigeons, but they looked like doves. Just came flying out.
Like real
and,
ones?
Yeah. And
Shit.
flying around, and then they just kept landing back on the venue.
Okay.
And every time the band would hit this certain climax, it was a note,
Yeah.
some sort of resonant frequency. These fucking pigeons would and they looked like doves though. And it was in a song that only it would make sense in this song,
Sure.
where it was perfect.
Sure.
And everybody in the crowd was like, "Oh, I heard them." Literally saying out loud, "This is so perfect. It's
Yeah.
like you wrote this out of a movie." Shit like that.
Well, what you're
And then I looked at Kate and I go, I know everybody else is also geeking out about
Yeah.
this, but since I'm on mushrooms, it's almost
Heightened,
like God
right.
lined this
Yeah.
whole thing up just for me, because nobody else is appreciating this as much as me, except for all the other people on mushrooms. And she laughed, and she's just like, "That's so you."
what do
'Cause,
mushrooms do though, man? They align you with the emotional state
And they increase your perception
of emotion.
of all your senses.
Emo-
all your senses.
but how they affect emotional state. So let's bring this back to marketing. Let's bring this back to promoting a band. That band
the
does
only
that.
reason this happened was because I got a text message that said tickets are going on
Oh
sale.
no, I wasn't even talking about that. I'm talking about the doves.
That's why I brought
at
it
the
up.
concert. They're doing that to get you to have an emotional reaction. That I mean, not everybody can afford to give that kind of show, right? But what about before that? That's a natural emotional connection. When you're at a show, seeing another human being, human to human interaction is natural emotional state. What we're trying to achieve is filling the gap of the unnatural setting, like on the online side, before you get to the gig.
Right.
And so that's the gap I'm helping people bridge is
Well,
how do we
just
create
knowing
emotion
about the gig? Just knowing
in an
about the gig
unnatural
is a
state?
huge.
yeah, but that doesn't motivate. What motivates people is emotion. Like for me to get out of my freaking chair in my basement and go to a show, right? Because you need to pack that show because you're going to be like Reaping and it's going to be a battle of the bands regardless if it's is or isn't, right? That's motivation. And you have to bring that to the table. And so that's what the system I'm building is going to hopefully achieve for people. Now, again, I'm building it, and I'm having some early adopters help me with the feedback. So that's the point of today's conversation. But if it's successful to the heights that I've done so with regular marketing, because I do this.
So let's try to put this into an example, so
Sure.
so the dumb people like me can understand exactly what we're talking about. Because I conceptualize these things a lot, right? Like
Yeah.
I talk about okay, if you draw 250 people,
Mhm.
why the fuck are you playing a venue that holds 500?
Right.
That doesn't look good on your resume. It's not a good vibe to be in a half-empty room. If I'm your agent, if I'm your manager, and you draw 250 people in fucking St. Louis, Missouri, I guarantee you 250 people, maybe even 300. You know how big of a venue I'm booking? 200 people.
Right. Overbook it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know why? Because as soon as I get to 400 people, I'm booking that motherfucker 2 nights in a row.
You remember Station 4, dude?
Do you
when
know
it was
how
overbooked?
dope that looks on your resume when you sold out a club 2
Yeah.
nights in a row?
Yeah.
And when I can guarantee 400 people,
Well,
200 people, 2 nights in a row. So now I got 400 motherfuckers that are going to fucking And like, especially through digital shit, I can kind of authenticate whether it's a lot of people showing up twice or if it's actually 400 people. Once I know it's 400 people, then I'm going to book a room for 300 people.
Right. Sure.
Because, dude, there's just so many things that attach themselves beyond the resume of like, we sold out a venue.
Right.
There's the vibe in the room, dude. The energy of not
Absolutely.
being able to move. I'm trying to get to the bar, dude. I had to fucking order water. Dude, it was so hot in there. I was drinking, but like it was so hot in there, dude. There were so many people in there. I had to order water.
I had to wait.
I don't drink water at shows.
I had to wait 20 minutes to piss.
Dude,
you know,
that's a vibe.
Like
bro.
it sucks, but you remember that shit.
Right.
That's an emotional connection to the situation.
And you trust me, your 300-person crowd is not going to become 3,000 if you're drawing 300 and you keep playing venues that hold 5 to 800.
Sure.
You grow when you outgrow your shell like a reptile.
Yeah. No, that's a great analogy. I think that's important too. It's
Bro, we're going deep tonight, dog. We got lots of good analogies.
Frickin'
Jason, you better be clipping this in
reptile.
real time, you son of a bitch.
I'll take that second beer now.
You want a second beer?
Yeah, don't give me one of yours that you've opened already.
What about one of these?
Yeah, I'm okay there. I appreciate you though. I'm okay.
I'll grab you.
Oh no, I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm gonna piss and then I'm gonna do that.
Okay. Actually, if you're gonna get up,
Yeah.
dude, the beers are in that
Yeah.
fridge.
Oh geez, make me
I'm
get my
plugged
own.
in. Well, yeah, because I'm plugged in and I got the in-ears.
Call me a bitch and maybe get my own beer.
Dog, you can just set the headphones down. The in-ears are a huge mistake, by the way, Jason. I gotta get back to headphones because every time I have to get up, I have to unplug this instead of just taking off. Jason. So like, I used to just take off the headphones and I could hear everything, right? Now I have to unplug these to walk away, and I can't hear fucking shit because I basically have earplugs in. In-ears, huge mistake for the podcast. Well, I get one shot, right? I get one. Can they hear you talking right now? There you go. Or the sink. You can go upstairs if you want, dude. Yeah, because I get up. I got to grab beers. Sometimes I grab them beers. Like, it's just a shitty, stupid. Do we have anybody in chat, dude? Do we have any questions? We'll set up Sealy. I'm trying to get him to talk more about this. Fucking Sanders. You son of a bitch. Ostrich Skin 6505. Hold on. Sanders asked me if I've ever seen Sealy's Ostrich Skin 6505. No, I have not. And I feel like that should be illegal or only allowed in Texas and Florida. Like, I feel like that's a guitar rig straight out of Grand Theft Auto 5. You can leave it on the screen, dude. You can leave it up there for now, dude. An Ostrich Skin 6505. Dude, that is some fucking... What color is it, Sanders? That's what I want to know. I want to know what color it is. If it's white, ooh, that probably looks nasty. Like, it probably looks nasty clean. Like, nasty clean. You know what I mean? That whiskey's kicking in for me.
I'll tell you all about it.
That whiskey's kicking in for me. Dude, I gotta take it easy on the whiskey. Will you grab me a beer while you're down there, dude? I got to take it easy on this whiskey, dude. Whiskey, dude, I am not a good whiskey drinker. I can sip a little bit. Dude, when it comes to whiskey, dude, I'm not going to lie to you guys, man. I'm kind of a bitch.
Yeah, I'm too good at it.
I like sipping a little bit of scotch with a cigar.
Oh,
But dude,
it's my
I
favorite.
do not handle drinking and getting drunk on whiskey well. Whereas I can slam beers all night. I can get shit faced on beer, no problem. You
Are
want
you
a
still?
cigar?
Oh, no. I was just gonna say, are you still smoking? Your who sponsors you? Right?
Yeah, this is my other sponsor. Yeah.
So I was gonna ask, and then I realized
Do you want?
I
one?
have no idea how to smoke cigars, so I'd look
you
like a
want one?
fucking idiot.
No,
I'll
fuck
take
it.
one
Do you want
home.
one?
I don't want to. No, I'm
Well,
good.
no, we'll do it together. I'll show you how to smoke it.
I'm good.
No, dude, I'll show you. Do you want one?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Dude,
I'll
can't-
focus on this.
No,
I can't do two things. Like that's nicotine and shit. I will fucking probably start
You
doing
probably will.
backflips.
Yeah, you probably will.
Yeah. No, we're good.
Another time.
Thank
Another
you.
Time.
I'll take one home though,
I will make no.
so I can practice.
No, they're good cigars. I'm not
know they
sending
are.
you home with one of these.
Maybe you should.
No,
Return for
I'll
some
send you
cables.
home with a cheap cigar,
Marco.
V.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See.
And they do make cheap cigars if you want a cheap cigar,
fuck
which
that.
I used to have a huge stack of them. But, dude, I was ripping through them, and I was like, why am I smoking these? Because
Jared, what just happened? I remembered the brand.
that's actually impressive, dude.
So
Copperish?
not being a smoker and paying, selfishly more attention to my brand maybe than Marco's, right? Because that's his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I remembered his brand through your efforts.
It's just repetitive.
Well, but beyond that, like I put some form of importance to it because of the respect that you provide advocating the product. So somewhere, somehow,
Well, thank you, man. That's a super genuine compliment,
my
dude.
my point is connecting as a pack animal, as a human to human interaction. That's the shit that I help bridge gaps on, because I understand what it actually takes. And so I love when shit like that happens. I like to just spotlight it, because it's like, well, fuck, look at right now. We just experienced it, Like if I'm on calls with people and I'm trying to sell them a product or sell them my service, I'm like, did you just get a phone call? Because they'll be like, hey, Matt, hold on one second. I'm getting a phone call. Okay, it's one of two things will happen. Either, Matt, I got to go. This shit's important. That means that company did their job and I'm less important.
Yeah.
Or they hang up, which is usually what happens. And I'm like, hey, what just happened? Oh, I just, I'm some marketer. And I'm like, well, guess what they didn't do right?
Right.
What I'm going to help you with.
Right.
And I love it when people interrupt people, because I'm like, dude, that's what I fix.
Dude, I used to do jobs like that, dude. And it's so interesting because I found that shit so fucking mundane and irritating and mind-numbing when it was me working for XXX fucking corporation. But the moment I start thinking about it as my band or my music, and I'm actually like kind of retrospectively talking about me at 18, not 40.
Yeah, that was like,
And
what, 30 years ago?
I take these things basically. I take these things way more seriously now. But when I was a kid, everything that you were talking about was mind-numbing because it was only being talked about in regards to selling more shoes or selling more what. But as soon as somebody was like, dude,
See how it
and
relates
this is
here?
the first great boss I ever had. As soon as he goes, dude, I'm teaching you how to make your band more successful.
Right.
I was like, wait, what? And from that moment forward, he had 100% of my attention.
Yes.
Every task he set me on showed me a way that it could benefit me in my personal life. It was beyond the job. I was no longer just selling my time to him for $14 an hour. I was selling my time to him, and I was getting knowledge, deep life-changing knowledge. I remember sacrificing $20,000 a year to go work at an auto shop because literally, I swear to God, I needed to complete my true understanding of the suspension system under vehicles, because I understood the full engine, the transmission, I understood everything, but the suspension system really confused me a lot. And I actually talked about this in my interview. I was like, no, I'm willing to sacrifice all of that as long as you give me this, this, and this. The reason I'm willing to, because they were like, this doesn't make any sense. And I was like, no. You're going to fill gaps in my knowledge. That's going to empower me for my life. like going forward forever now, I will understand the rest of the vehicle
Right.
in a level that will benefit me much more than $20,000 an hour. And I was like, we're going to be honest with each other. I'm not going to work for you for 10 years.
Right.
You get maybe 4 out of me. Maybe 4. But I'm going to be because I had a sales background, right? I was coming in as a manager. And I was like, but you're going to make a lot of money off me because I'm going to teach you how to sell shit.
Well, that's the key.
It was a new auto repair company it's called Honest One way back in the day. And I was like, I'm going to teach you guys how to sell shit. You don't understand what you're doing wrong, right? Because I came from Guitar Center. And I was like, I'm going to teach you guys this, and then I get to learn this. And that's why I'm going to sacrifice this $20,000 a year on this salary. But I get it all back on commissions because I'm going to fucking be dope as shit. Yeah. Right? I worked there for, I was like, at most you get 4. They got a year.
You mentioned
but it was
something.
super, again, what you said, dude, you called me out and you're so right. And it was such in a non-toxic way. You said you're super transactional.
Right.
And that's why people fuck with me, dude. Because I'm like, here's what you're going to get. Here's what I get. If you agree, we're doing business.
Here's the epiphany.
How do we make this work?
Your boss that you decided to listen to actually sold you in that moment. And you actually had an aha moment for yourself to then give your 100% attention. Well, what about the other end of this, where you're trying to advocate your band or try to sell your product or try to start a course or try to start lessons, for people when you're on tour and you don't have anything to do and you can have a computer, so you might as well make money. Like, you need to have your end user, your client, your fan, your whatever, your business, have an epiphany themselves. So my point is you experience that on the inside. How do we get these outside people to have the exact same experience? That same amount of, what's the word of today?
Uh-huh. Oh.
Come on, producer guy.
Motivation?
Thank you. Motivation. How? Motivation. What is that from?
Motivation Nation.
How do we get people
Contagious Nation
to walk across their freaking basement and go to your damn show? Or buy your t-shirt? Or listen to your band on Spotify? Ugh. Or
when we were young, so pre-internet, so this is where the analogy kicks in. So pre-internet, we used to try to get cute girls to go flirt with guys in the audience, and they would have a clipboard, and we would have those cute guys walk around, and if they were interested in the band, if they seemed stoked, they would walk around and they would try to get their email address, and then they would walk them to the actual merch table and be like,
and what do we do with the email address, though?
Now, I was never in one of those bands, so when I say we, I'm not speaking personally. I'm saying this is what Skywine did.
Yeah.
This is what the biggest bands in town did when I was coming up. And I was always trying to get my bands to do this, but either my band wasn't big enough to have enough people to do that with, or I was in too much of a metal band, and they were like, "That's gay. We're not having chicks walk around trying to sell our band, man."
So you don't.
There was some weird shit going on, but this is what those bands did.
And that's what this
even
system
if it's just pussy, dude. Pussy's an inspiration, dude. Yeah. Like, they figured out a system. They figured out a way to, hey, guys want to bang hot chicks. If hot chicks are into your band, they'll buy your shit.
Right.
They'll show up at shows. Once your band has a lot of people, chicks are more into it. That means more chicks are going to show up because chicks like popular bands. Like, it was such an easy algorithm.
Catch-22 for sure.
But it took money to make money. And it didn't even take a lot of money.
Right.
I think I just heard Joe Rogan talk about
some
this
chicks
recently.
are cheaper than others.
I think I heard Joe Rogan say this when he was talking to the dude from Wu-Tang. Scared money don't make no money. Right? So meaning you gotta Jason, make sure you got your talk to text button ready. What's the phrase that Bruce Arians used to use? Football analogy. The coach for the Arizona Cardinals. He was talking to Larry. No risk it, no biscuit. Is that what it was?
I dig it.
Is that the phrase?
I like that. Well, I mean, it resonates in so many levels because at the end of the day, like, again, a million balls to that hole is going to get you a few thousand, hopefully, and that's ultimately what it's going to take. If you don't risk whatever your idea is, you don't put in the effort, you're not going to get the biscuit. I did a lot of construction, and those that just kind of happened to be in the right place at the right time, we called them the gravy train, right? You just you show up and you get the gravy. It's easy. Well, it doesn't last. you know. And so if you don't figure out what you need to bridge the gap between where you're at and where you want to go, you have two choices. You're either comfort zone and you're never going to change, or you got to make some sort of line in the sand and do something different. And that's what I'm trying to help people achieve.
So what's the next step after we text you?
Yeah.
Like, what's the logical or theoretical or you know,
Yeah.
what's like the box that
Yeah.
we're going into?
So
because everything is in some sort of funnel or box. Like
Yep.
we make steps.
Yep. So basically, once you text band to that phone number, the system will text you back, get your information, and then from there, I'll take over or somebody on the team, and we will just assess where you're at, what your goals are, what your needs are, and then we'll decide if you're a good fit for the system. And again, because early adopters, based off this show, if there's anyone interested, we're going to get you in for free, and we're going to test the waters because I am building this as we speak.
So the Montoya machine would be a terrible example to use because the Montoya machine is a group of vets who've been there and done that. So if
that's
we were
not
to
a
sign
terrible.
up-
Actually, that's a perfect example because you probably, if you're vets, have
Okay.
a lot of contacts.
Okay, so let's use that then. Okay,
Those with more contacts than not will do better with the system.
Okay, so let's say we hit you up and we go, okay, here's what we want to do. We want to open up for national acts
Mhm.
as fast as possible. What we don't want to do is we don't want to waste our time on the political trying to get popular locally.
Yeah.
What we would rather do is this. We would rather open for bigger and bigger acts, escalating that. So let's just stay the opening band.
Sure.
Instead of the ego thing where it's like we want a headline.
Right.
We want to be the big band
Yeah.
tonight.
No.
Let's just but what we want to do is consistently open for bigger and bigger crowds. So we'll stay the opening band as long as those crowds grow not exponentially. What's the word I'm looking for? Like if you're
Linearly?
if you're matching trajectories.
Yeah. Linear growth. So let me reflect on that.
That's what this band would prefer to do
Let me
versus some other bands that I might be affiliated with. This band would be like, hey, we want to do the whole thing, but if we got to choose our path because we've been there and done that, if we're going to do local shows, it's because we want to do them or we choose to do them or there's a gap to fill.
Let me marry all those thoughts. First off, it doesn't matter what you want. You shoot for the moon. Because in marketing, you're going to be able to get the high-end stuff or the low-end stuff, but it will all come to you if you shoot for the moon. If you limit yourself, the high-end stuff that will never come. Here's the power you have as a band. You can say no.
Well, and that's why I said this band might be a bad example because we can already do a lot of that, right?
As long as you can give the system information, it's going to go to work for you. That's the key. So this is an offshoot of just business systems that I run for people. I call it the conversion catalyst system, and you know, you feed it with ads and other reasons and things and whatever, and it does its thing, and I can go, you know, book a consultation, I'll walk you through it. But when it comes to music, at the end of the day, if you can populate the system, you can do a lot of this for free. And the cool thing is veterans or people that have been around a while that have a lot of contacts or whatever else, that's insanely paramount to how well the system does for you, nurturing things, nurturing people, nurturing business, whatever the case might be for you. And at the end of the day, like, if you shoot for the moon with your marketing, your front end, whatever you want to call it, because, like, I know it sounds weird to say marketing with bands, you know? Most people just say, like, social media presence or YouTube channel or playing gigs, you know, but, like, your marketing.
That's all marketing.
It's your marketing, right? So let's just use
T-shirts are marketing.
correct, hats, whatever.
Merch is marketing.
Collecting emails, it's marketing.
Everything
so
is marketing.
let's just agree that marketing is happening. So if we
Every
say
post you make on social media is marketing.
now, here's what you have to achieve with that
Which I'm really good at.
is an emotional attachment,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
In an unnatural setting. You know, anything online these days is unnatural because we're not human to human interacting. So the system helps bridge that gap. And if you shoot for the moon, you can say no to the big gigs. You can say no to headlining. You can do whatever you want to do. It's your band, it's your business, it's your whatever. But without the opportunity in the first place, what the hell do you got? So that's where the system allows you to run your situation the way you want, but it allows you to run the situation the way that you want.
Can you give us a tangible example?
Sure. So let's say you've been around for 10 years and you have, 100 venues that you're in contact with. And maybe you're just not getting traction. Maybe you're not playing enough gigs, whether it's around the country or whether it's even in the local scene. It doesn't really matter. The system nurtures these people so that, to your point earlier about touch points, you're just always fucking present in the right way, though. Like, not just like, hey, I'm this band, book me. We bring 200 people per gig. No, who gives a fuck about that? We're talking about whatever they need to hear. Let's give them that as many frickin' times as they need to hear it so that it happens. Now, beyond that, once you get the gig, right? So you get the gig, whatever. Now let's go into normal process. Okay, we got a merch table. We got these fans that are watching you play the gig, but also going, hopefully pushing to that table. Well, boom, we got a system in place that they can become a part of, that when they leave that gig, you're not done with those people. Now, if you're touring, if you're nationally touring, this is epic. Because until you go back to that town, or if they somehow are motivated to go to your website or your Squarespace or your whatever, you're not doing nothing with those people. Right. It's wasted effort. Mm-hmm. But guess what? The system literally tomorrow can text someone and say, hey, thank you so much for coming to my gig. Here's half off on a t-shirt. Well, fuck. If you sell 10 of those instead of none of those, would you do it? Probably. You know, especially if you mark it up on the front end. You know?
Right.
Not to bait and switch people. That's not what I'm saying. Now, don't be unethical, but be in front of people. And the system will automate that.
Well, no, and that's the thing is, like, at the end of the day, when you're playing, I used to get weird about this until I got older and wiser.
Little wisdom, tribal knowledge. Yeah.
Which is like, I know that I bought 100, or actually what really ended up being was like 400 T-shirts. I would buy like 400 T-shirts, and they cost me like $4 a piece or whatever the fuck it was. I think it was $4 a piece. I really think it was $4 a piece. Maybe it was more expensive, but I swear to God it was like $4 a piece. If you bought 400.
You mean to sell?
If you bought 100 T-shirts.
I was like, damn, what band sold their shirt for?
No.
Got you.
The band.
Yes, got it.
I think if I bought 100 T-shirts, they were like.
Yeah, Vistaprint is like, $4.
I don't remember Vistaprint. They were local companies.
Oh,
but
sure.
But I think if I bought 400 T-shirts, I could get the T-shirts down to like fucking $4 a piece.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But this was a long time ago. This is like 20 years ago, dude. But you had to buy a lot of T-shirts. But at a local show, you would try to sell them for like $10.
Right.
15.
Yeah, you don't have to mail it out. You don't have that shipping cost.
And you're thinking like, dude, we paid $4. We're gonna make $6. You know, like, dude, we're gonna get rich. But you would never sell those T-shirts.
Right.
However, the moment you played in front of the right national acts, dude, not only would you sell all those T-shirts, but we used to think we were getting fucked over when they would tell us we had to sell our T-shirts at $20 a piece.
Right.
Because we were like, dude, you're like, we can't sell T-shirts at $20 a piece, bruh. But it was like, no, your band sucks. That's why you're not selling T-shirts at $20 a piece. Because the moment I was in a good enough band and they made us jump to $20, we sold way more T-shirts.
Yes, there's a whole...
Because we were now on par.
Yeah, there's
with
a whole
all
mentality.
the other bands.
Yes.
So we sold more T-shirts, made way more money, and then they literally at the end of the night we were like, oh my God, dude, we sold so many T-shirts.
You got to know your competitor.
And literally, I swear to God, somebody literally walked up and they were like, yeah, you're fucking welcome.
Right.
Stop complaining.
A lot of venues, they put those things into practice because they just happen to know a little bit more than you might. You know?
Yeah. We're doing you a favor, kid. And your $10 T-shirts look like bullshit.
Yeah.
But as soon as I tell them it's $20, now your T-shirt has value.
For example,
Sell your T-shirt for $20, you fucking idiots. That was the point they were trying to make to us. That was the point they were trying to make to us. And they forced us because they couldn't talk any sense into us.
I was thinking about this earlier. You know, like Tone Vault, the cables, the premium line, the professional series. I sell a quad core 25-foot cable, so 4-core cable, for $57.95, I believe. If I'm just recalling this off the cusp.
That's the 4 times the cores, guys.
the cost in the competition is Mogami or Monster cable. It's $100 or 97 something or 92 something. Actually, I think last I looked. So you're saving, $40 or something like that. My point is what if I put my shit to their price? I'd probably sell more.
Only if you could back up all the same things, though.
Of course, which
distribution, warranty exchange,
so, yes.
like.
My point is when it comes
there.
to right, and in my case, yeah, because I'm going up a whole different. This is a whole different animal. But my point, I've been thinking about that because I'm like, well, my whole goal originally was provide the same quality, but very discounted so that I can help out my scene because they can't fucking afford it. Like they just can't, and they deserve better. That was my whole mentality. But again, as a selfish business owner, so that I can beat inflation and other problems in taxes and things like that to try to stay afloat to continue to help consumers, down the road. What if I did make them $70? Maybe they would sell better because people would see a perceived value in the fact that they're spending more money. So to your point about bands and T-shirts and merch.
Maybe, I mean, here's the thing, though, is at the end of the day, then immediately now you're in a different, because now they can go with the fucking Amazon pig hog.
Sure. But my point is to your point about merch, it's similar in the mindset of, hey, instead of 10, let's sell them for 20. I bet you're going to do better. And you did, right? So it's definitely a real thing.
Now,
I think
we're
it's
not going to do
valuable.
that every night.
Right.
But it was like, hey, here's the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how this works tonight.
Sure.
You're not selling to local band fans.
And most venues might give you that info as well. And you know what? The system, you can take notes.
What's weird is in a cable
reference.
scenario, right? To stick with the analogy, the weird thing with the cable is like there's different. Great analogy is cigars. There's going to be slight manufacturer imperfections.
Sure.
It's inevitable.
Right.
Okay. Now, I could go with a Cohiba and spend $20 on a cigar, but you know what I'm really paying for? An ass load of advertising and quality control. And you know what quality control in cigars and cables means? It means throwing a lot of shit away.
Yeah.
That's what that actually means.
Yeah,
it doesn't actually mean better people inspecting shit.
Right.
It means we throw a lot of shit away.
Mm-hmm.
Which means at the end of the day, for you to get a Mogami cable or a Cohiba cigar, you're spending an insane ass load of money
the overhead.
on marketing and throwing a lot of shit away in order to make sure your shit is dope. However, my point is, I can walk you into any fucking cigar shop, any asshole cigar shop in asshole Wisconsin, Indiana, or fucking downtown Dallas.
Yeah.
And I will find you a $12 cigar that will blow the fucking doors off that goddamn Cohiba cigar.
Marco V.
You have it is one of those. It is one of those.
See, I remembered.
It
I don't even smoke
It
cigars.
depends on which Marco V it is, though, because the only one I will put my name on when it comes to Marco V is the Palladium. That's the one I smoke, because this fucking $8 cigar will blow the doors off of most $15 cigars.
Sure.
Now, I'll bring you into any asshole cigar shop and find you a $12 cigar that'll smoke the fucking doors off that $20 Cohiba sitting on the top shelf. You're the $12 cigar of cables.
Right.
Like, I will take this fucking Tone Vault cable and I will show you it's just as good as this fucking Mogami cable.
Right.
But the Mogami cable is more expensive, not because it's better, but because they spend a lot of fucking money on marketing and they throw a lot of shit away.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what it really boils down to. It's not fucking rocket science.
Yeah.
And if everybody understood what they're actually paying for,
Right.
less people would buy Cohiba cigars.
Well, or
Less people would buy
or
Mogami.
be price shoppers. Yeah, true. So I gotta come back to Sanders' quote just so I don't forget. You know,
The copperish.
well, the ostrich skin
I
6505.
got to take another leak, dude.
Yeah. So I'll talk about that then. That's probably good. Good.
I want to
timing.
hear this story though. No, you
Oh.
can't tell this story. Okay, here's what I'm going to make you do this.
All right.
You've never heard the new band I'm a part of.
No.
I don't think you've heard
Nope.
any of my music,
Mm-mm.
which is hilarious because everybody's like, "Oh, Jared's so about himself." Like most of these motherfuckers don't even know I'm in a band. You fucking cocksuckers. Why do you all hate me so much? I feel so abused. I'm just kidding.
Well,
I made all of this up.
every negative is one step forward to the positive, right?
All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to mute the mics.
'Kay.
So we can all talk shit, stretch, do whatever we got to do. Let me turn this speaker up. That way, if you want to pull the headphones off, you can. All right, I'm going to mute this. We're going to play a song. Jason, do you have one we should play, or should I just pick one? Okay, because no one gives a fuck, dude. That's the point. It's so funny. I love you guys. All right, I'm going to play a random Montoya Machine project. I don't hear it, dude. Yeah, let's figure it out.
Blame the cables.
It says it's playing it. Dude, I cannot do your job for you while I'm drunk and on this side, dude. Ah, fuck. Fucking junior producer in training. So this song should be playing, and I can't tell if it's playing or not. I can't hear a goddamn thing. Son of a bitch. All right, we're doing bathroom breaks one at a time, you bitches. All right, I got to take a leak first because I said it first. You guys need to talk. You two need to talk. Jason, don't forget the crowd can't hear you unless you do your push to talk. Yep. This sucks. I know what went wrong. It's when we unplugged that fucking memory stick, dude. That's what happened.
Memory sticks get you every time. So Jared, right? Jason, damn it. See, I should have wrote your name down.
Oh, shit. I know what it is.
I think he said Jared. I blame him.
Oh, shit. I know what it is. I know what it is. Okay. Pull up OBS so I can see it. I know exactly what the problem is. Okay, you got to go to main overhead. Yeah. So, or main overhead 2. Yep, that one. Yep, so it'll stay there. This is what the problem is. Okay, so.
So many pieces. I thought we had enough. I thought that we had what we needed. I thought we had enough, but you showed me that I'm so broken and beaten. A fragile shell that holds me in. Now I'm just repeating everything you told me to. So I'll lower my everything you want me to. When you look at these pieces, can you sense I don't want you to? I am perceiving that you can see right through me. And don't be so cruel, I'm aware. It's a strange discovery that we coalesce apart. What if I would keep us together? It's slowly deconstructing me. I can't say that it's gonna be any different than before, but I know that you mothered me into the man I am today. Of the damage that's still here, it hangs an anchor from my neck, and now it's sinking. I am aware of the damage that's still here, it hangs an anchor from my neck, and now it's sinking. I will raise myself up here, alright. I'll take my hands off my face and I'll tell you why. I am farther from the wreck behind me. Now I can see. It's a strange discovery that we coalesce apart. What if I will keep us together? It's slowly deconstructing me. I can't say that it's gonna be any different than before, but I know that you mothered me into the man I am today.
Yeah, he's fucking good.
I'm sure you've met him.
Maybe.
You may not like know him, but
It's
make sure you keep your nipples on these two lines.
nipples on the lines. Got
Yeah,
it.
that way
Okay.
you're in frame.
I like being in frame
Look how
and,
good
and
you
nipples.
Look, dude.
in
You
the
look like a fucking stud, dude.
well, you
when you're
know,
in
when you
frame.
are one, you is one.
Yeah, I have to admit, I was like, I'm gonna try these in-ears. I see Tom Segura use them. I was like, oh, I have in-ears now. I'm gonna try these fucking in-ears, dude. For a podcast, it's a fucking disaster, dude. Terrible. The headphones are so much smarter because you can just take them off and set them down,
Right.
and I can do whatever I need to do. These fucking in-ears, dude.
Especially when you get used to them and you like walk away and like impale yourself because it's still plugged in.
Dude, that hasn't happened yet
Oh,
because I'm used to
you're smarter
already
than me.
unplugging or setting down shit, whatever. But
Okay.
the problem I have is that with the in-ears, when I unplug them and walk away, they're earplugs now.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't hear a fucking
yeah,
thing.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if they're custom. Absolutely.
When I set the headphones down to go grab a beer, I can hear everything.
Right.
So it's a super, in-ears for a podcast, dumb.
All right.
Headphones all day.
So more importantly than that, let's get to this ostrich skin.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about this. Ostrich.
Are we back on? Is that what's going on now? We good?
Ostrich skin
I know
6505.
it's hard to say it in linear format like that. Ostrich skin. Yes.
It's a lot of
6505.
S's right in a row.
So Sanders,
While drinking whiskey.
I don't know what you're talking about. I appreciate it, Sanders. So it's funny you remember, again, emotional attachment, right? He is creating or bringing up a memorable moment of knowing of this item, this lore, right? This amp, it was a 6505 Plus. I purchased it from Trent from After the Burial when they tracked Rare Form guitars with me back in fucking 2008, I think it was. No, 2007.
So after the burial,
Yeah.
shows up in your studio, tracks an album.
Yep.
which we didn't get to talk about last time.
I think we did a little bit. We touched on it probably.
I think we touched on it. I wanted to get more into it last time, which it's definitely going to have to be next time again now.
Yeah. That was
we're not going to get to it this time.
3 studios ago, like 3 brands ago. I mean, I formed a lot of businesses over the years. So that was Northern Vault. No, Northern. The fuck was it? Look on the back of the Rare Form album, and you'll see me.
So everything you've done though has this theme of vault. Where does the vault?
No, actually, I think you're right. I think it was Northern Vault because at the time I was big. I was a hick, so I grew up in northern Minnesota, and I love pine trees.
But where's the word vault?
So the door down to the studio that we built in this rental house.
Okay.
It was like a split level, $350,000 home in Eden Prairie. Me and my buddies, we rent it. And we build this fucking door, and it can't be
an homage.
It can't be permanent. So we build this fucking 6-inch thick door, and I decided it looked like a vault door. And so at the time, I'm like, well, I really like northern shit. That's a vault door, so Northern Vault.
Love it.
So if you look at the back of the Rare Form album, you'll see like Harry and Matt from Northern Vault Studios or whatever. That's where that came from.
And they track the guitars with you, right?
Yeah, the guitars, and then when they what did they all do? When they re-recorded after their second vocalist left the band, and they got their current vocalist, Ant, he came through and re-recorded vocals. So when the reissue, there was a reissue that was put out, and so they did that there as well. But the guitars. They spent a month. They rented the studio for a month. And, like, literally, Trent and
now, was it because you were buddies, or is it because you did something they were impressed
kind
with
of,
beforehand?
Kind of, yeah.
Or a combination of both? Explain how that goes down, because I really wanted to talk about this last time you were on the podcast. How does a guy like you...
let's get to the amp, and then let's answer that.
Okay.
Just so we can answer the amp thing.
Okay, you're right.
So Trent tracked, guitars then with... this 6505 that was covered in fucking ostrich skin. And I forget who he told me he had it done.
What does that even look like?
It's brown and has little like...
Is it like leather?
Leather, brown
Kinda
leather.
Like alligator skin a little bit?
Yeah, it's brown leather, and then it has like holes where the feathers were.
Okay.
Okay. Kind of like a boot, like a fancy boot.
So they ripped off the Tolex and replaced it with ostrich skin.
Yeah. And not very attractive, just unique. I mean, it was brown, so like
the coolest fucking thing on earth.
Coolest brown.
Look at
though.
my guitars.
Yeah, right.
Like, I love natural tones, browns.
But not brown like that. It was brown like shit brown, but it had holes all over the place. It was just different.
I don't have the Honer hanging up here. If you've seen the Honer, you'd be like, Jared, you'd love this fucking color.
So after the fact, I don't know why. I don't remember how or what spurred me buying it, but eventually I was just like, can I buy your amp? I don't remember if he posted it for sale or what the hell the conversation was, but
sure.
Eventually he's like, yeah, dude. So I bought his amp from him, and that thing served me for ages. And I actually, I traded that and a guitar to my cousin, Scott, who used to be the drummer for the band that became Demonicon. They were Dominion prior, death metal band in the scene years ago. But Scott was a drummer. I mean, I met this dude. He's a step cousin, so like he came into the family through my stepmom, and I met him. We went to the Guitar Center together. He sat down on a DW kit, double bass, whatever kind of pedal they had, probably an Axis at the time, and he literally just blew away the whole store within 10 seconds. I mean, the kind of drummer where you're just like, oh, that's a whole different fucking level. That's how I met Scott. Scott, I learned, it was the original drummer for Dominion. They became Demonicon. So those that know who Demonicon is in the death metal scene in Minnesota, that's kind of the transition. But Scott left the band, whatever. I traded him that amp head and a guitar I had at the time that I bought from Byrne, actually. So to bring Mike Byrne back into the fold.
Shout out Mike Byrne. I wish you liked me, buddy.
Oh, he does. He loves everybody.
One of these days, I'm gonna get Mike Byrne on this
Dude,
podcast.
he fucking loves everybody.
And the entire first hour of the conversation is going to be about how he hated me.
No.
And then it's going to be about how I won him over.
Oh.
And then the third hour will be about how
He'll
loves
probably
me.
buy you something. That's what he's always done for me or any Sanders or anybody else we know. He's just like, hey, I'm going to do this for you. And why? Because.
No, I think one of the things was Mike Byrne thought I was trying to steal a commission from somebody when I was doing the exact
fuck all that.
opposite.
No way. No way.
No, because he was so loyal. Because he was so loyal to his guys. And I was doing the exact opposite.
He's just
So-
old. You can't teach a dog new tricks.
And
He's
here's the
78.
thing, dude. I'm pretty sure I can diagnose myself with a little bit of social autism. Because there's sometimes I'm like just completely upfront and just doing the right thing, but people are like, "This dude is way too like, ugh." Like it happens. It's rare, but it happens. Yeah.
Well, all I can say is Mike Byrne's 70,000 years old. So there's that.
Mike Byrne also has an immense amount of respect for people who know their shit.
Oh, for fucking sure. Yeah.
And I think he has very little tolerance for people who don't know their shit.
Not sure why he puts up with me then, but my point is.
And I didn't know my shit.
Well, so I traded this amp head and this guitar to my cousin Scott, and in return, and then I threw him a little money too. He sold me and traded me a $4,000 Babinga Star Classic Tama drum kit. So I'm sitting on a fucking amazing drum kit. Like it's got so many cymbals, I can't even put them all on the kit. And I got hi-hats on both sides and rides on, Nick Barker style. Like,
but a Bubinga kit
Yeah, it's
is the
sick.
wood in that kit
Sick.
is special. I have a birch Bubinga snare.
oh, fuck yeah. So it's got the low and the high. Yeah. That's
Every
sick.
single person, when I record with that snare,
That's the best fucking shit I ever heard.
everybody are like, dude, what
Yeah.
the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And I tune it a certain way.
Mhm.
But then I just go, it's a Tama Star Classic Birch Bubinga snare. And they're like, oh, well, fuck you,
Yeah.
dude.
I got a whole- I
Everybody
got the whole
just is
kit.
immediately like, go fuck yourself.
I'm not even a drummer, and I don't even deserve this kit, but I have it. So it's,
It doesn't even match my kit. You can see it over there, dude.
yeah.
You see it?
Yeah, exactly.
The red snare with the blue kit, dude. And people are like, why would you do that? And I'm like, have you heard this fucking
Right.
snare drum, dude? Are you an idiot?
Are you a moron?
Fuck the color. Dude, this is the greatest sounding snare drum ever
Well,
made.
it's minimum viable product. Does it sound better or does it look better? What do you actually care about? You know,
It's the greatest sounding snare drum ever made.
and that's what
Especially
actually
the
matters.
way I tune it. Like the amount of people, drummers, that come up to me and like, dude, that fucking snare is amazing, dude. And I'm like, yeah, thank you, dude. It's the greatest compliment you could give any fucking
Absolutely.
drummer.
Yeah.
And if you want to cut a drummer to his soul, tell him his snare sounds like shit.
Yeah.
And you'll destroy his entire world.
I feel like
Best drummer in the world. You tell him his snare sounds like shit, and you'll ruin his month.
I will. So earlier I was talking about butt shakers and all that stuff in the kick drum. The reason I learned about them was through Kenny Arnoff. Are you familiar with Kenny? So Kenny is a big player. He's played for all kinds of national and worldly acts. But he has his own signature snare through Tama. And so I'm teching for him, recording at Winterland at one point. And if you guys are familiar with Winterland Studios, thank you, sir. And the funny part is he's telling me all about these butt shakers. And I'm like, oh, that's insanely genius, blah, blah, blah,
Oh, you're
whatever.
talking about the ass kick.
Yeah. But his signature
Explain to people
snare,
what we're talking about, dude.
I'll get there. But the signature snare, his brand, I was like, so what makes yours different? And he looked at me like, you motherfucker. Like you said, you cut a drummer deep by saying, well, what's up with the snare? In your case, you're obviously advocating a better sound. So
Or shittier.
yeah, but we don't want shit. We don't want Saint Anger. We want, Pearl
The
Jam.
balls. The
we want,
balls.
Pearl Jam or fucking
You
who's
know why-
famous for their snare.
Here's why you can compliment Lars Ulrich
I won't.
on that snare sound.
I won't.
You know why?
Because everybody knows it.
Just the balls.
Yeah.
The ball.
Yeah.
He knew it sounded like shit.
And it got him where he's at. It's
He
like
is-
haters on the internet. It's
he
a good
is
thing.
not an idiot.
Yeah.
He is not an idiot.
Right.
But he had the balls to be like, I'm going to hit an empty
Probably wasn't him.
keg.
It was probably his producer. that said, "Fuck
Bob
you."
Rock. You think it was
We're
Bob
actually
Rock?
going to do this. Yeah, look at Bob. There's reasons why that shit exists. But anywho, we don't all have to have shit snares to get
I
there.
used to have the theory that Metallica, because you hear people say about this, like they're so good they could do anything and it'd be awesome. My wife said this about Taylor Sheridan. She goes, "This motherfucker is so good. Every show he writes is immediately the best show on that network."
Oh, sure.
So from Yellowstone, 1883 or whatever the fuck it's called, 1923, fucking
was a
Landman, fucking
Oh, sure.
Lioness.
Okay.
Like everything he does is just immediately the best show on that net. And I mean by ratings, not by opinion. It's just immediately. And my wife goes, "This motherfucker could take a dump
Right. Right.
and it would be the #1 show on TBS."
Well, if we're talking
I don't think
trailers,
I don't think TBS exists anymore, but her point stands. And I go, "Careful, babe." And I go, "Careful, babe. I said that about Metallica, and then they came out with Saint Anger."
if we're talking trailers, look at Swift.
No, because Saint Anger was an actual piece of shit.
But I
Like,
agree.
it was the worst thing ever recorded in the history of heavy metal.
You're very close to it, if not. Yeah.
Dog.
Yeah, I agree.
Dog.
I mean, even the supporting, videos and documentaries and marketing was horrible and absolute shite, as they'd say in Ireland
I found
at that time.
I found Some Kind of Monster compelling because it showed the inside of a band that no matter how good you are, when you're not vibing, you can still suck.
Right.
And that gave me so
Hope.
much fucking inspiration that, like, okay, this might suck now, but that doesn't mean I suck forever. That just means this isn't vibing.
Let me
right
isolate that.
because they're the best ever,
You
and
said-
they're not vibing.
You said inspiration.
Oh, fuck you.
What is that?
Oh, fuck
What
you.
does that give you? What's the word of today?
Ah, you said it. Jason, push to talk. Set your
What's the
phone
word
down,
of today?
set your phone down,
Inspiration gives you
fucking
what? Yes.
piece of shit.
Well done, sir. He earns his keep.
He earned his paycheck before the podcast started, actually.
I love it.
No, for real. He got frustrated with I heard him like give himself some shit when we couldn't get the music playing. I heard him beat himself up. But here's the thing. You already earned your paycheck earlier in the night when none of those songs were available. You remember that, Jason? Yeah. So you fucked up.
You done fucked up, kid.
No, I'm sorry. I just misspoke. I completely misspoke. No, I
you
completely
didn't
misspoke.
miss. Yeah.
You didn't fuck up.
Right.
You figured out and fixed a problem. So when you thought you fucked up later, it was such yeah, we'll get to now you know.
Right.
Because you already figured that other problem out that was a way bigger deal, that this was just like and all three of us tonight have joked about how we've been a little foggy-minded.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm clear as a goddamn clear as mud. No, it's alpha brain. What the fuck
So
is that?
one of the things I try to manifest as far as all these philosophies and like theoretical motivational bullshit and quantify it into something that a band can like grab onto and go, oh, here's how we actually execute what they're talking about. So I book you on a show.
Sure.
We're playing at a tiny venue. The place only holds 100 people, 180 people. There's 4 bands. Okay. The headlining band is going to pull in 40 people, 50 people. Okay. That brings the rest of the bill down to 110. The next band has to bring in 30 to 40 people. So that brings it down to 80 people left, right? 70 people left. That means the next 2 bands have to bring in 70 people.
Right.
So we're going down the bill. So you're responsible for 30 if you play second, and you're responsible for 20 if you open. Kind of where we started. this
Close to
whole thing,
decent public math, but yes, I
Right.
get the point.
right? Ish.
Right.
Because you're gonna have some girlfriends in there. You're gonna have some other people. Like
Let's
there's gonna be
Let's fucking
there's gonna
hope.
be some strays that come in.
Some strays.
It happens.
Stray girlfriends or just stray fans?
All of it. People that just show up to that bar.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll go see a rock band for $10 that I've never heard of.
They see that beard, they're like, "Fuck yeah!"
This beard, no.
Yeah.
This beard deters.
I know, whatever, dude. I'm jealous.
Now, an Alex Kelly beard, that motherfucker.
Touche, salesman.
I'll bring him some fucking figgy pudding all night.
Figgy pudding.
Figgy. He makes that same post every year. Bring me
You
some
know what?
figgy
I
pudding
saw
and
that.
bring it right
I
here.
fucking saw that
Every year
post.
he makes the same post,
Dude.
and I love it.
That again is another
Marketing. It's marketing.
It's a touch point.
Yeah.
I fucking know exactly what you're talking about, and I don't follow Alex that much just because I don't know him. that
Nor
well.
does anybody know what figgy fucking pudding is.
But it stood out, and
But
I
that's
remember
his
it.
thing.
It's
That's
an
his
emotional,
thing, yeah.
somehow an emotional reaction to me thinking, fucking pudding. I'm like, I hate pudding. Figgy pudding, though. What the fuck is that?
It's
Why
a
are
lyric
you
in a
fucking
song.
saying that?
Right.
Memorability.
Yep.
Well done, Alex.
And it's a lyric in a song. And so now every
Oh.
single time I hear that song and it says,
What
bring
song?
me some friggy. I don't even remember. Jason, Google it. What song? Lyrics. Just literally type in these lyrics. Bring me. I think it's bring me some figgy pudding and bring it right here.
Huh.
And it's a specific
Okay.
like stanza of a verse of a song, very niche, but he does it every year, and he sits on that fucking same Santa throne, and he fucking does the beard thing every year. It might even be the same picture.
That's funny.
I think he takes a unique picture every
Kiss,
year.
we wish you Merry Christmas. Oh, okay. Now bring us some figgy pudding and bring us some figgy. Okay.
Oh, god damn it. Hold on.
That's some good music, by the way.
That's my bad. Hold on. That's my bad. Media. Hold on. I got it. My bad.
That's actually pretty good, dude,
My bad.
by the way.
So yeah, it's from We Wish You a Merry Christmas.
Oops, name drop. Or oops.
So
Song drop.
he literally pulls a random line from the third verse.
That's wit. I love it.
That's
I love
Alex
it. That's
Kelly
wit.
all
That's
day long,
wit.
though.
I love
Like-
that. I think
Like
that's cool.
something niche and like this is my thing.
Now see,
Bring me figgy.
I like
pudding and
Alex
bring it
more
right
now
here.
through
I
this
know, that's what I'm saying.
conversation.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
well done,
This
sir.
is marketing. Dude.
Well done, dude.
Like we're literally we spent at least 3 minutes talking about Alex Kelly
damn straight.
and figgy pudding. And
But that's-
reaping Asmodea.
That's if
we probably
you-
spent 15 minutes
pull
talking
that
about
in.
reaping.
Yes.
That's marketing.
Damn straight.
Like, and that's
Naturally.
and what do they call that? That's actually the actual definition of publicity is when you get other people to talk about you.
Yeah, because that's the
organically.
intent. Yeah, so organically and
So-
naturally is the same kind of mindset.
And we're talking about a death metal band, the least
Right.
marketable
Yes.
thing you could do.
Yes.
But we spent the majority of tonight talking about reaping fucking Asmodea,
Yeah.
which is a goddamn death metal band,
Right.
which is the least marketable. But we're doing it.
Yep.
So they're doing something right with marketing
Damn
because
straight.
they're getting us to talk.
Now
We're
how
not
do
getting
how do
paid
we
for this.
replicate this?
We're not getting paid for
How do we replicate this? Or
For every
how do they? Well, not only every band, but them specifically. If they already have some traction, that's why I said earlier, like for my system, like if you have contacts or data to put into it, that's where you get the best results.
So
Not
how do we
required.
amplify that?
Not required, but again, amplifying that stuff. So, like to your point, for reaping, here we are still talking about reaping Asmodea, right? For no reason, but they somehow have done the things and the stars have aligned so that people do that. They're doing that all over the country now, probably the world now at this point, because they're doing worldly things. That's fucking cool, right? And so, how do you put fuel in that fire? How do you hit the gas pedal? How do you take it up a notch? You know, those boys deserve everything that comes and 10x that amount. Like, I hate to use the word 10x because that's 20x. They've been working their dicks off for since I can even remember.
Do you think they're the next band that deserve is the wrong word? Because they definitely have the experience and talent
Mm-hmm.
and equity to carry the torch. But do you think they're the next possible band that can garner and kind of encapsulate all that momentum? So like we can light a fucking we can light a fire pit full of gasoline,
Right.
okay? And it'll go poof.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be really cool. It'll look really cool. But the more we condense
Smolder.
the more we condense that, and if we mix it with some oxygen,
Let
and
it
then
let it
cap it,
Yeah, smolder it.
right? And then if we hit it with the right perfect mixture, do you think Reaping Asmodea could be that band, the next ATB, that launches and has enough concentrated fucking vacuum poof momentum to like do you think that they could represent Minneapolis and put like almost like an ATB or a Misery Signals from Milwaukee or a Cannibal Corpse from Florida? Do you think they can grab the nation and represent Minnesota?
Oh, absolutely. I think, the one thing about
And I'm not talking about talent. I
The-
want to eliminate talent from what I'm saying. Do you think they have the marketing and the momentum and the?
I think they're getting there for sure.
You see what I'm
because
saying?
They have
Do you
the,
understand what I'm saying?
They
though?
have the
Like,
representation now.
because it's not about talent.
They
They
they're
obviously
very
have the skills.
they're very niche. That's the thing. Like that's the one thing
Fine.
that is holding them in like a
I'm
pocket.
not talking about popularity or
But-
any of that stuff because Cannibal Corpse isn't popular
They're incredibly popular.
for all intents and purposes.
Sure,
They
sure,
are
sure,
not
sure.
popular.
No, yeah, no.
But they encapsulate an idea of Florida death metal. They are Florida death
You know what they did? They fucking grinded forever.
metal. They made it into Ace Ventura, dude. I mean, you can't be any more popular.
Yeah, but they were still popular before that. The point,
You know what I mean,
Reaping,
though.
Reaping's got a really good
You know what I
thing
mean.
now. I think Reaping has a really good thing going for years to give them now its merit. Because, a lot of like online or offline effort these days is like, well, are you a band that's gonna keep doing this? Like, can I rely on you?
They seem like that.
And they
That's what I mean.
totally
That's why I
are.
brought them
So
up.
yes, I agree. I think they will represent Minneapolis or Minnesota in general.
Like someday there's going to be a version of a reality where people talk about a genre of music and they're going to talk about Minneapolis and the band Reaping Asmodea specifically. I think they can do that.
if they get
I think they will
the
do
support
that.
they need elsewhere, because I think the United fucking States limits that band that niche. You go to fucking Europe. Like I was,
They might be the biggest band in Europe.
dude. They have fucking
They might be
Grammys
Death
for
Clock.
that.
They might be Death Clock.
Right. Well, I don't know.
If they're in Europe, they might be Death Clock.
The thing about Death Clock is it's
Bro, I'm speaking metaphorically here.
he has a lot of other things influencing that. Let's put it that way. There's marketing budgets and there's cartoons and Cartoon Networks and other things that are influencing that. So there's a whole different level.
No, I mean
But-
the
yeah,
actual
yeah.
cartoon, like this idea that like a metal band can be the biggest band
True.
around.
No, but that
It's
happens
not Michael
naturally.
Jackson,
It happens naturally in
It's
other
not
countries.
Britney Spears. I'm just saying this.
That's my point.
The metaphor
You're
is
spot on.
in that cartoon.
Yes.
The biggest band in the world
Yep.
is a metal band. Right?
Reaping's
so, like,
gonna take over the world.
If Reaping Asmodea
Yeah.
if Reaping Asmodea was in Europe right now, they could be the metaphorical Death Clock.
Yeah.
And they might already be fucking massive everywhere else in the world. But only, and this is what you kind of said, only because they came out of America and they do the genre of music they do. Like, it's a slow burn. And you
Right.
but these are also the most successful
Oh,
and
yeah.
sustainable genres of music are
Sustainable.
the ones where you build.
Great
So
point.
this goes back to
Yep.
where we started the conversation before the podcast, which is building a sustainable model, which is organic
intent.
fans from the ground
With
up.
intent.
And this is where I think,
Yeah.
as hard as it is to make a legitimate full-time living being a death metal artist.
Yeah.
I also think once you do it, it's the most sustainable because they're the deepest and loyalist of fans.
Can be.
So
Absolutely.
if you get, and it's not even just death metal, any metal.
Right.
If you can get a 10-year-old fan to become a genuine fan of your band,
Yeah.
you have that kid for actual life.
Dude.
That kid will come out at 50 years old.
What's your band?
And what do you mean?
That gave you that experience?
Oh, it's Metallica.
Okay.
Probably.
All right. For me, it's Opeth. I bought Blackwater Park 4 times.
It's probably 6 bands, but if you make me pick one, it's Metallica.
Anyone that
To
knows
keep the
me
analogy
knows
consistent.
Opeth is my shit. That's my go-to. I'm the biggest fucking Opeth fan ever. Well, guess what about Opeth? They put out a bunch of albums,
Gentlemen and Scholars.
but they put out 4 albums that were shit if you're a true Opeth fan. Like, it's almost like it's like those Metallica fans that decided Black Album and beyond was no longer Metallica. Okay? So Opeth went through that a little bit. They just put out, Will and Testament, his Will or the Will and Testament, I believe. It's a whole different, and he's, whatever. I can talk for days about Opeth, but my point is I'm still loyal. I don't listen to those 4 albums. I've listened to Will and Testament I don't know how many times in the past 2 weeks. I haven't listened to Opeth in 2 years. Up until prior to 2 years, I wore out a fucking CD 4 times. I had to buy it 4 times. I mean, I'm talking mega fan. Let alone the rest of the albums.
And we didn't wear out CDs. We just scratched them from putting them in and out so much. Like you had to rebuy a CD.
Dude, I don't even know why.
You couldn't. It's literally
I
just
bought
so
it-
people don't be like, "Oh, you can't wear out CD." Fuck that.
I'll
I swear
make
to God,
that
if I
even
get
weirder.
One comment that says you can't wear out a CD, dude. Obviously, we couldn't wear out a CD. We scratched them from using them so much.
I put a Nickelback album in a CD in the microwave once. But my point is, the first time I bought the CD, the second time I probably bought the CD, the last 2 times, I think I honestly purchased it from Apple Music. And somehow I had to do that twice even. I don't know how. I don't know what the fuck happened. I wore that shit out too. Like, to your point, it's even worse. My point is Die Hard. Each of us has that Die Hard. And it's just really interesting when you strike a chord with somebody that's 10 fucking years old, like Reaping's going to do, over some kid in Europe, where their niche genre is perfect for that market. Over here, it's harder. It is. Over there, it's more natural. I've been there. I went to Norway when I was 18 because I was obsessed with black metal. It makes sense there. Like, you go and you just chat with kids in trench coats with fucking cigarettes, and you're just like, dude, grim. This shit's grim. This fucking 30 Below is kick-ass. Like, here, it's like, what, you fucking nuts? So their shit is going to resonate. They're in a prime situation for support, and I think they're going to do really great things because they have the longevity behind them. They've been doing this already for
They're the
20
comic.
fucking years, or however
Not
long.
only are they the food truck, but they're also the comic that is the fucking the Bill Burr.
Dude, they're not a
They're
food
the
truck.
Bill-
They
they're
bought
the-
the venue without even knowing how to run the fucker.
No, but they're like the Bill Burr.
They
who
just
everybody's
threw
like,
it all in.
Everybody's like, "Oh, my new favorite comic is Bill Burr," and it's like Bill Burr's been literally doing this for like 10
Yeah.
to 12 years,
Yeah.
and you're just now thinking
Right.
they're the new comic.
Right.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing
Well,
about Reaping
any
Asmodea
success
is like
really is like that.
that's the thing about a Reaping Asmodea is when they get their success, there is no they're the up and coming.
Right.
No, bitch, they've been brewing
Yeah, dude.
for a long time.
That band works harder
Like a
than anybody.
Metallica. Like a Metallica, right? Like now granted they may probably will never achieve Metallica status. Nobody will probably ever
Fuck
achieve
that. Let's
Metallica.
go.
Like come on. Don't do me like that.
Fuck that.
But like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm an optimist. I'm
But
a
it's that same idea of like it's
manifestationist
organic.
and an optimist. So.
It's organic and it's real.
Yeah.
And there's no like
They're,
sudden
dude, ultimate cult following, I bet, with that band. That there can't not be.
think
because
there's a lot of bands like that. I think ATV's
Oh, yeah.
like that too.
yeah, that's a different dynamic. You know, I mean, I think they were perfectly timed, perfectly placed. They saw exactly what needed to happen, and they filled the void. You know,
That's what I'm trying to explain. I think Reaping can and might do that soon. Like there might be a new movement that happens soon.
let's hope for their sake.
Because Reaping is doing something, and I've talked to Copy about this, and Copy and actually Alex have said this. These are their words. We're not exactly doing the most unique thing on the planet.
Right.
Like I've joked to them about like when we opened for them, I was like, well, compared to you guys, we're fucking cookie cutter.
Right.
And they're like, we're pretty cookie cutter compared to ...
That's just them
These
being
are
modest.
their exact words. And
They're
I
modest,
agree.
yeah.
I agree. They're being modest.
Yeah.
But I also think they're being genuine.
Yeah.
I don't think they're just. I don't
Great
think that's false
attribute.
humidity.
Great attribute to have as a musician.
Did I say humidity? I think I just said humidity. I don't think that's.
humility?
Yeah, I don't think that's false humidity. I think they're being
Humility?
genuine with that. Yeah, I don't think that's. Yeah, I don't think that's false humility.
Yeah.
I think they're being genuine with that when they say that, and I don't agree with it.
A band that can stay modest.
I don't think they're cookie cutter at all.
Is a band that I think sticks around. I think the moment you let that selfishness come into your realm, it's like a cancer. You know?
Do you think so? Because I think kind of that big dick energy kind of.
No,
helps
Big
you a
Dick's
little
great. Big Dick's great. All the chicks like the big dicks. My point is my point.
we finally got Matt Sealy a little loose. It only took 2 podcasts and several whiskeys, but we finally got Matt Sealy a little loose.
Oh, there's
All the chicks like big dicks.
The point I'm trying to make.
Clip it.
You got
Clip it and rip it, baby.
You got to have confidence, but until you can produce. It's like almost like imposter syndrome until it's real. You know, you have to show up. You got to bring the fucking crowd. You got to wow the goddamn socks off people. And if you don't, act like you did anyways until you do.
That imposter syndrome thing is very interesting because, like, I think you are an imposter until you're not.
Exactly.
And you don't get to decide when that happens.
Correct.
However, only you can realize when it happens. And what I mean by that is this. I'm re-experiencing this wave of dick grabbing and fucking
Circle
great.
jerking?
You're
Are we
great.
talking about circle jerking right now on a podcast?
You're great.
You're great. No, you're great.
But then, like, at the same, because it goes back to that thing of like you're gonna pursue perfection,
Yeah.
never achieve it. Somehow along the way, you're gonna become excellent, right?
Right.
For me, the phrase is simple. I don't want to be good. I want to be great.
Right.
What's very interesting is like I show up to every gig from the beginning till, and this is about to happen on January 17th at Club Underground.
First gig.
Second gig.
Second gig.
With this band.
With this band.
I am 100% still trying to trick people into thinking I'm a good drummer. And every single gig, no matter who comes up to me, right? Might be a fan from the audience, might be a drummer I revere
Right.
from another band who happened to show up that night.
Like Dan Copy.
But if they go like, hey, man, you're fucking really good, dude. You're like, got him. Tricked him. Got him. Got him. Got him. Got them all to believe for one night I was as dope as they were. But then at some point in time, that becomes real,
Right.
and you actually are great.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I'm saying. You don't ever get to decide that. They decide that.
Well,
However, only you get to
can prevent
realize it.
forest fires.
Fuck you. I knew you were going to do that. I fucking, the way I set that up, you son of a bitch. The cadence I set that up for, I literally go prevent forest fires. And then you did it.
My
and,
mom's a nice
I
lady,
hate
by
my
the way.
life. No, but at the end of the day, Dorothy Mantooth may be a saint, but
Mom, meatloaf. Fuck.
But that idea that like, yeah, I got you tonight.
The wit in this room.
I tricked you tonight.
Right.
But then you do that enough nights, and then you're like, I actually might be a legit drummer or a guitar player, whoever you might be. For me, it was on drums. I never had this experience on any other instrument. And I'm definitely, here's the irony. For me, I'm definitely the shittiest version of my musician. I'm definitely the shittiest at drums. But it is by far the highest compliments and the most durable
Right.
compliments. Dude, I suck at drums. I
Well,
fucking suck at drums.
but that's your only-
But dude,
that's your
I
perception.
get the most compliments.
That's your
As a
perception,
musician,
right?
I get the most compliments and the deepest, most heartfelt compliments from great musicians as a drummer.
But that's your
And I'm not
perception
even
versus
close to.
reality, right?
Dude, it's my second or third best
But it
instrument.
makes you humble. And I think that's important. I think
I'm a terrible drummer.
somebody that just says, "Hey, fuck you, I'm the best." Okay, great. You've earned my respect? No, not necessarily. But if you show up and say, "Hey, yeah, I'm going to play anything you want me to. I'm going to kill it. It's like a one take, situation. I'm going to earn that for you to be impressed. But then I'm also going to be a little bit humble and say, "Dude, I couldn't play, that 11-minute Tool song if you asked me to right now, or whatever on drums." That's somebody that is worth respecting versus, I don't know, Thomas Hawk that shows up and says, "I can fucking play Bleed because I wrote it, and I will play everything else that you want me to play." Well,
Great
good for
point.
you, dude. Good for you. Do I like you? Not really. Like, fuck off. Yeah, I appreciate that. I respect your talent, but you as a human, because you got to tie the talent with the humanism side of things, because you still are promoting what you're doing, and pure talent doesn't do all of it. You still have to show up and be like, "Yeah, but I'm still cool. I'm still a human. I'm still approachable. Do you want to approach me as a fan? Please do." For whatever reason, whether it's the music, whether it's my drum lessons down the road, because you never know. You don't want to burn the bridge now, and then down the road when you're like, "Hey, I do drum lessons now," and everybody's like, "Yeah, fuck you, you pretentious bitch." Like, you know what I mean? So there's a lot more to it, in my opinion, than just the now. But at the same time, you got to earn respect by doing the work. Like Dan Copy, for example, he's been doing the fucking work for years. Years. His band doing the work for fucking years. Anybody that knows Reaping.
Dan Copy might be the hardest working single musician in the entire Minneapolis music scene.
I wouldn't disagree, and look what we just stated without knowing him super directly. I mean,
I'm not
maybe you
even
do.
talking
I
about
don't.
all the shit he's doing now. I'm talking about his reputation going back years. I remember 10 or 15 years ago hearing about
It was
Dan
like Dead
Copy.
Hands Rising. Was he in that too? Right?
I think, yeah,
Yeah.
he definitely was in that band. But I remember sitting in a room hearing somebody talk about Dan Copy's work ethic, and they were like, "This motherfucker
Yeah.
wakes up."
Eats, breathes, and sleeps.
Goes to the gym.
shits, fucking.
And I might be saying this out of order, so don't kill me,
I just
Dan.
did probably too.
Don't kill me, Dan. But this was basically what I heard about Dan Copy. He wakes up in the morning, he goes to the gym, he works out for like 2 or 3 hours.
Fuck.
Then he goes and works a full-time job.
Yeah.
And then when he's done with this full-time job, he goes straight to rehearsal for another 2 to 3 hours.
Which is a workout in itself, doing what he does.
And because he's a drummer and he's a death metal drummer and he's a badass death metal drummer.
Yeah.
But then when he's done, he goes and he did something else super constructive and then went to bed.
Probably posted some crazy, awesome, like motivational comment on.
And I just
social media.
this was way before social media, dude.
God.
This was like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I just remember hearing, and I was like, yeah, that's my life. Because it was the exact same thing I did minus the gym. Like, I didn't go to the gym, but it was the same exact
regiment or whatever.
And I was like, yeah, that's the way you do it. And this is again 15, 20 years ago. So I would have been like fucking 20 to 25 years old at that time.
47, yeah.
And fuck you. You son of a bitch. And,
Sorry, you're not as old as Mike Burns. Sorry.
But at the end of the day, I was just like, yeah, no, that's how you do it. And that's why, still to this day, I'm kind of a little bit of a dick when I lack sympathy for being like, oh, I got this issue, so that's why I can't XYZ.
Yeah, but
And it's
in
like,
a public
you can.
in a public you can't say that though, Jared, because in a public forum you've literally admitted your faults. That means you actually have humility. You're actually humble.
Well, and I have a lot.
So
of those.
don't beat yourself up, man.
I have a lot of those faults.
Yeah.
But the
So
difference
you're perfectly
is,
capable.
The difference is I don't use them as excuses to not
No, you use
achieve.
them as fucking fuel.
Yeah, or at least
What is it? Yes.
or at least if it's not motivation, it's at least something I can go, hey, okay, here's where I fucked up.
You got to look in the mirror.
And I can at least use that as a learning
Self-reflection,
experience.
absolutely.
As worst case scenario, it's a new foundation to build from. Oh, I fucked up. The beautiful thing is when you have friends that can point that shit out for you.
Yeah.
The worst thing is when you're flying blind.
Yeah.
And the worst thing that could happen to you is if you don't have a Kyle Glidden in your life. So I have a Kyle Glidden in my life. And Kyle is one of the best possible friends you could ask for in your life. Because when you fuck up,
He fucking straight up tells you.
Glidden will be like, bro,
You fucked up.
not only did you fucking do this wrong, here's how you should have handled it.
Yeah.
And even if he's wrong in that, he still gets you to like start going in that. Bro, like everybody needs more Kyle Gliddens in there.
You know what that's giving you? Producer.
God damn it.
I'm you know, I joke about it, but I keep bringing it up.
I didn't
because-
see that one coming. I saw all the other ones coming. That one caught me. You
Perfect.
son
I
of a
did my
bitches.
job. It's important. It's a paramount mindset because like
So what if a band? I want to get back to this.
Yeah.
If a band is going to hook up with you,
Yeah.
What do they get out of it? What do you get out of it? Because like you called me out early,
Yeah.
and I found it very positive. Some
Yeah.
people would call it toxic.
what do you mean?
You said I'm very transactional.
Yeah. Oh,
I
gotcha.
don't think that's toxic at all.
No,
I found that as a huge compliment.
Yeah, you just got to
Because
be
I found
humble.
it as you saying I make sure that people get from me as much as I take from them, or they get the bigger end of the cookie.
Do you
so
think?
To speak.
Do you
So-
think Reaping or Daniel Copy is transactional? Abso-fucking-lutely.
He should be.
He puts his heart and soul, eats, breathes, and shits what he does, and that band does. He's transactional. There's no not doing things for a result. It's all this effort today is for the end result tomorrow or next year or next decade or whatever. I mean, that's why they've been consistently doing it for decades.
Right.
Decades. What bands do we know that can say that?
Right. It's a locomotive.
And it's also inspired that band to stick together, find the members that need to be happening. You know, whether it's the past vocalists, with the past bass players, but now they have whatever they need for right now, and it may change, right? But the point is the ship is being paddled effectively and efficiently as possible. And so, to your point earlier about being toxic, about transitional, I don't think that's toxic. I think it's mature. I think it's responsible. I think it's necessary if we're going to keep our community together, if we're going to keep the venues open, if we're going to, actually get somewhere with our hobbies, and have a real fun. Because most people don't understand the difference between hobby and an actual band, like transactional band.
That's why I brought up the food truck analogy.
Well, you've been there. You've had a band where you literally got paid decent money for gigs. You've been in a band where you were very well known. You've been in a band that has gone somewhere. A lot of people can't say that. They don't understand what that feels like. So they just want to defend the fact that whatever reason is that they didn't get there. Well, what if you just try a little harder and put your focus in the right areas and achieve it? You're going to triple, if not quadruple, the amount of fun you're having, the experience that you get, and the money you make for your time that you're investing. And then your wife, when you say, hey, I got to go play this gig at 6 o'clock at night on a fucking Friday or Saturday, she's actually going to be okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because here's the thing, is like you could have a part-time job. Like you work your full-time job, you make $45,000 a year, like most of us.
Yeah.
right, or 60 grand a year, like
Right.
most of us. Whatever your number is in your city
Right.
that you're listening from, right?
Right.
Whatever your average salary is, and then you start a lawn mowing company. Well, that's your weekends. That's most of your nights. As soon as you get home, you're on a lawnmower. What's the difference from you being on a lawnmower versus a guitar?
Right.
There is no difference.
But
right?
even if that was your fucking
One's
passion,
way more enjoyable. Trust me. I love mowing lawns. I fucking love sitting on a tractor. I'm telling you, I'm from Minnesota.
But Jared,
I fucking own a tractor. I love mowing. I'm telling you, I fucking love mowing. There is a fucking peace that comes with it.
well, it's the
It's
what you
not
get to
as
see
good
at the
as
end.
playing on stage.
It's what you
not
get
as
to
good
see.
as playing
It's
on
like
stage.
plowing snow. You get to see the actual work you did at the end of whatever the effort is that you did it.
It's not as good as playing
No.
guitar on stage.
But I'll tell
or
you what,
drums on
if
stage,
if
or
I could
piano on
hire,
stage.
Larry over here to mow my lawn or Dan Copy, who do you fucking think I'm gonna pick?
You're hiring Dan Copy.
Fucking right. So I'm just saying, like, use that shit to your advantage, whatever you decide to do, whether it's that lawn mowing service, teaching drum lessons, or fucking playing gigs or selling merch at those gigs, like whatever it is.
Give a fuck.
Anywho, you
No,
asked.
that's the phrase though.
Give a fuck.
Give a fuck.
Well, my
like care.
my
Care about whatever it is you're doing.
my phrase this year is inch the bitch forward.
Inch that bitch forward.
That's my phrase this year.
I love that.
2024 was a dumpster fire in a lot of ways, so I figure 2025 is that's the motto: inch the bitch forward. You don't have to become a gazillionaire tomorrow, but if your mindset's right and you're in a continuous mindset, improvement mindset, and you just inch that bitch forward, you'll get there. To your point
Jason
earlier.
and I, Jason can attest at least on the podcast the last several months. I've been reminding everybody, like, keep your eye on the horizon, but don't forget to put one foot
Yeah.
in front of the
Yeah,
other.
you have to.
Because there's two types of people. It seems like there's two types of people in this world that don't achieve shit.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm talking about two types of failures. Okay, there's two types of failures in this world. And I said this a long time ago on the podcast, but this analogy this is how I know when I like have a good idea. It doesn't change 2 years later.
Oh,
And
sure.
Jason's been doing a lot of recaps from old podcasts to try to farm clips. So I said this a long time ago. I'm going to say it again because this shit is solid as fuck. There's two types of failures in this world. One type of failure is a guy who only looks at the horizon and he just keeps talking.
Sure.
I'm going to be up there someday. The second type of failure is the guy who doesn't ever look at the horizon. He just monotonously keeps his feet to the ground, his
Right.
face to the ground, and 1 foot, but he has no idea where he's going.
Right.
The guy who actually makes it in this world is the guy who actually does both.
Right.
He continuously, relentlessly, never, ever stops putting 1 foot in
Right.
front of the other.
Right.
But every once
Has
in
a
a while,
plan, looks
he
up and
keeps
says,
looking up
yeah.
and making sure he's headed to the same fucking horizon
Right.
point. That is a fucking insanely vague analogy,
Yeah.
but that is wisdom.
Oh, for sure.
Like, in that is the seed of seeds that most people are never going to understand. But that is it, man. If you want to fail in this life, do one of two things. Only look at the horizon or only look at your feet.
Yeah.
The key is to figure out the balance for both. And make sure that horizon you're looking at is also slightly realistic.
Well, right.
Because if you are delusional, then
You know what though? Like
if you're looking at a mirage instead of a horizon, I mean, come on.
I'm an
homie.
optimist, man. So like saying that to me, I fuck it. Like shoot for the moon because, like I said earlier, if you shoot for the moon and you fall short, you're going to be so much further ahead. If you only shoot for the end of the block, you might not even make it out your front door. So
That's the Lombardi shit, though. That's Lombardi.
yeah,
We're gonna pursue perfection.
yeah,
Well, knowing.
Right.
Come on, dude. We're never gonna be
right,
perfect.
right. That's the.
But-
I'm obviously not going to get to the moon without a spaceship.
But if we try to be perfect,
Right.
we're gonna be excellent.
Yeah.
While everybody else is trying to be great, they're just gonna be good.
Yep.
And that's why Lombardi has a trophy named after him.
Yep.
I fuck you, Jason. You're fired. Fuck you. fucking Packer. Fuck you. Fuck you.
That's
Fucking Packer
I'm-
fans. You're fired, dude.
Oh, that's why.
You're fired. Fucking
I gotta
Packer fans.
piss
I
just
hate
thinking
'em.
about Packers.
Go take a leak, dude. We'll play another song. I'm having such a good time with you tonight, dude. We might even make out a little bit after this. All right, we're going to play another Montoya song. We're going to play Saved a Place for You. Actually, let's play Barrier. We're going to play Barrier. Jason, go to the main overhead 2.
If confidence was my only curse, I chewed up the apple and I learned the worst. I felt my mind break today. I saw the time slip away. I guess I woke up, you could say. Oh, here I am in my own way. I broke a barrier. Facing the distance wall that keeps me so uncomfortable. Build up a barrier, put my back up against the wall. God asked me, whoa, if I was contrite. It's always an answer you seek. In other words, it's the feeling you need. I felt your heart slip away. I know your world changed today. When I am dead, you could say there's nothing in your way. I broke a barrier, 'cause I don't like it where you are. I'm facing the distance wall that keeps me so uncomfortable. Build up a barrier, put my back up against the wall. God asked me, whoa, if I was contrite. I broke a barrier, hey, 'cause I don't like it where you are. I'm facing the distance wall that keeps me so uncomfortable. You build up a barrier, hey, put my back up against the wall. God asked me, whoa, if I was contrite.
Hat size, Jared.
My hat size? I don't fucking know. I don't fucking small. Small. Oh, bro. We're doing this now?
Head size comparison.
Homie.
Yeah.
Homie. I don't know.
This
My-
kind. This kind.
I don't know. My head's longer than it is wide, though. I'll tell you
Elongated.
that
So it's
much.
kind of like the island of Vieques.
Yeah, I got a big brain.
Yeah, it's
Gotta fit all
15
this in here.
wide and 5. Yeah.
It's the same problem I have with my testicles.
Yeah. Well,
They don't fit.
They can. It's not your testicles problem. It's the other end. Depends on how you look at it.
Shitty jokes. I'm a terrible comedian, which is why I don't do stand up. Everybody thinks I should do stand up, but what time is it, Jason?
9:33.
Did he have to piss? Oh, we got to wrap this up. Jason, are you pissing? All right. All right, we're
It
gonna
helps
wrap
out
this
for
up
lunch.
because I want to play you a couple songs before
Sure.
we get out of
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I want to show you what I've been up to.
Yeah, sounds
'Cause
good so far.
I think
man.
you're gonna dig it, dude.
I do. What I've heard so
I think
far
you're
sounds
gonna
kick-ass.
appreciate. I think you're gonna appreciate, even if you don't like it.
Needs more blast beats.
That's what I'm talking about. See, that's a great
Come
example.
on, Daniel.
So let's just
Aaron.
we'll wrap this up. We'll wrap this up. Here's the point.
Sounds good.
That's a great. It needs more blast beats. So hypothetically, right? It's not heavy enough. So maybe this hypothetical person doesn't like it. Cool. Down with that. I get it. But when it comes to like a peer-to-peer professional thing, what matters to me and what I give when it comes to when I say respect, it's about appreciation.
Yeah.
It's going, oh, I see what you're doing, and it is fucking dope. Even if I don't like it,
Oh, sure.
I become irrelevant in that equation.
Right.
I am just an asshole in the ether. But what you're doing is fucking dope. That's all that
Yeah.
fucking matters. And my ability to say that about others is the only thing that I think makes me credible when I talk about other people's music. It doesn't matter if I like it.
Yeah.
It matters if I can appreciate and acknowledge what you're fucking doing is fucking dope. I endorse it. You're the shit.
And
That's what I do on this podcast all the fucking time. So when I throw down and I go, yo, I love you. You're awesome. I want my viewers to believe that that is genuine. It's from the heart.
Yeah.
It's not because you're successful and I want to try to associate with
Right,
you.
right.
And I'm hoping if we bump elbows and rub or fuck those people, dude. That shit bothers me.
Hence
and I
my
will
point
fucking
earlier about
fight
being
over
humble.
it.
Yeah, no, you're spot on because when you're humble, even if you're confident, you
Shout
earn.
out to Guy in chat, by the way.
Holy shit!
We'll get to chat in a minute. We got to wrap this up.
My point is you know when you're confident, that's one thing when you can earn your keep. But when you're humble, to your point, that's when the rubber meets the road and you're approachable. And that's the only way to get fans. That's the only way to market. That's the only way to get ahead. If you're just, I don't know, what's an example? Like I really enjoy Steel Panther of all bands. It's probably some of the most fun I've ever had, right? That band is insane. They're talented beyond belief. They can pull off Van Halen better than Van Halen can half the time. But yet,
Well, especially at their age.
exactly. And at the half the time, though, they are not taking themselves seriously while doing so. And so my point is, they can entertain a crowd. They can play their
let me
fucking
redefine
instruments.
That. Before you finish this, press pause. They don't take themselves seriously.
Correct.
But
the
they
business.
take what they do
Yeah.
very
Well
seriously.
said.
Because
Well said.
Satchel
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
not a fuck around
No,
guitar player.
no.
But he is a goofball on stage.
Hmm?
There's a huge difference between taking what you do seriously
Yes.
and taking who you
Spot
are
the fuck
seriously.
on. Spot the fuck on.
And that's what you're talking about.
Well, and
right now.
that's-
so finish your rant.
Like, so for
But
example,
I wanted to pause
No,
just so
you're
everybody understood what you're really saying.
absolutely spot on. I think if someone's like, for example, when I would play shows, I practiced my goddamn guitar, right? And I wanted to be a band that was impressive. So we'd play a show, and I'd have people at the front of the stage, literally like, doing this during a solo, and I'm thinking to myself, whatever. Like, I'm not worth that, Like, that was my actual intent, my mindset. Like, I was humble enough where I'm like, fuck, whatever, thank you, but like, whatever. When it comes to everything else I do, I try to take the same approach. So, for example, let's say you text, band to my shit, and then I get my system in place for you, and it blows you guys up, or at least you're able to do what you're trying to achieve much more easily and quickly. It's not like, okay, now Matt and his brand or his company has helped me, and that's the end of it, and they're the best, and I'm the best, and fuck whatever else. It's thank God I was able to help you. I'm really good at what I do, so let me help you do what you're trying to do, and if it works out, I'm just grateful that it did, And I think bands need to approach how they play gigs and sell their shit and sell themselves and practice and be diligent with what they're doing with that kind of mindset. Like, if anything, the word of the day is motivation, and the takeaway from today is, how do you show up and kick ass more so than anyone else, having the confidence that it requires to do so, but yet still be approachable so that you can continue the momentum and the motivation for others to build your audience, to build your business, to
find your niche.
Yes.
Which is what I secretly meant, jokes aside, when I texted your thing and I said I want to make the whole world pregnant. What that really means, because like obviously I'm trying to be a fucking douchebag and be funny, right? Because that's me. Like, I'm always trying to go for the joke. That's why my family hates
I'm a shit giver.
That's
I'm the
why
same
my family hates me.
That's why we get along.
Like
I'm the same
everybody
way.
that doesn't like me doesn't like me for the same reason. I'm always trying to go for the joke and they don't get it. That doesn't mean I'm funny and they're dumb or they don't get it. That's not what that means. It just means I'm a douchebag and I'm always going for the joke.
That's not what that means. It just means you're in a certain witty amount and they aren't.
If you can translate the douchebag, when I say I want to get the world pregnant, what I really said there was, I understand how the world works, and I want to find my niche.
Yeah.
Because you can be a punk band that no one's ever heard of, but to go back to the original fucking analogy where I started this whole podcast from is, I developed this theory that's called the 1 in 300, which now would be like 1 in 350, which means there's 350 million people in America. And before the internet, if I sold 1 million records, I was the biggest thing since sliced bread. That's a platinum record. In fact, if you sold 100,000 records, which is 1 in 3,500 people, that's a gold record.
Right.
I make gold records. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't have to stab you with a soldering iron.
Like, this is a bragging point.
Right.
I make gold records. It's only 100,000 records, dude. That ain't shit. Right?
In comparison, right.
That's 1 in 3,500. So let's just pretend this is that time where I want to go platinum. That means I need to sell one record to every 350 people that hear my music. I am convinced goddamn near any band can do that.
Yeah.
Because I can find 1 million people who like fucking anything. The key is, how do I get in front of 350 new people every night?
Damn straight. So
that's the key. That's the game we're playing. Because if you put me in front of 35,000 people, I'm definitely selling more than 350 records.
Well, a little gold nugget.
It's happening. It's happening, sweetheart. Like this is the machine that the corporate record labels built. So this is the game we're playing. So how do we figure out how to do that on a minute scale to build enough momentum to where those... So this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
This is what I'm preaching. This is what we're trying to do. I think what we're really trying to do, brother, and Greg Moog is trying to do a version of this too. And I love the fact that this is happening because between Greg Chilton, Greg Moog, you, me, there's a bunch of people trying to influence the younger, I would say, under 25 age group of like, hey, man, here's how it kind of works.
Right.
We're all going to try to figure this out together. And if we do this right, not only does the rising tide raise all ships and we get successful, but what we'll do is we'll build a fucking whirlpool.
Yeah, a cesspool.
Not a cesspool. You son of a bitch. A whirlpool.
Yeah.
We'll build something that's sustainable,
Fucking
that lasts beyond us.
Circle pit.
So when we leave, this machine is still running.
Well, there's
self-perpetuating. That's why I say whirlpool.
It's
something that's self-perpetuating.
There's nuances
that doesn't end.
to that because everyone's different and there's specifics to each unique scenario.
But for now, no one's listening.
And
that's our biggest problem.
So when it comes to this, the big thing is you have to be able to meet people where they're at. Like fans and businesses alike in your, whatever your effort is. And I'll leave this gold nugget. emotion is achieved through a purchase or a transaction, whether it's I show up to your gig or I buy your merch online or offline, or a venue decides to book you, or a marketer or a booking agent, or whatever the case might be, whatever the transaction is. It's an emotional connection to, if I do this, I will get something in return, right? Like, it makes me happy. It's not a logistical thing. Logistical things make your emotions be created so that you say yes. So if we can just bridge the gap of what is it specifically, to your point about the whirlpool thing, there's going to be different specifics to everyone in that whirlpool. Once they all figure out the specifics, they create the whirlpool. So each individual needs to figure out what it's going to take for them to motivate their end user, whether it's a business or a fan. And there has to be a language that is created to meet that end user where they're at, so that you can motivate them through emotion. And if you achieve that, and that's really the algorithm I'm trying to break into. Because here's what happens when you're successful. The actual internet algorithms, whether it's social media, SEO for Google, ads, whatever you'd use to get out in front of people and blast your band or your service or your coaching business or your whatever the case might be. They go to work for you. They go to work for you. I'm sure many people have heard, like, you got to post 5 times a day or a week with reels, or you got to do this or that, or you got to whatever. It's shit. It's so much shit. And the algorithms know what shit is. When you show up with value and you actually do it the right way, guess what happens? People come out of the woodwork. So I'll leave you with that. That's the gold nugget. Like, if you figure out your front end to emotionally connect with your end client where they need you to meet them, the internet without ads will reward you. You throw ads in the mix, and boom, you might just be the next Metallica. They grinded for years to figure it out. You don't necessarily have to as much. So,
well, I think one thing that's super interesting to me, at least, is that target point that we're all going for. I feel
the horizon.
That horizon line, right? Or you could look at it like a bullseye on
Sure.
the dartboard,
Yeah.
if you want to,
Yep.
if you want to switch up the analogy. But either way, basically, what I'm kind of thinking of, my metaphorical vision is, if I'm going to try to describe this to somebody, is that we could all be shooting towards the random horizon, right? Which
Throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping it sticks.
What direction are you even facing?
Yeah.
We're all shooting at the horizon, right? Okay, cute. But are you facing east or west?
Right.
We're all shooting at the
Chance.
right. Cute.
Yeah.
Cool fucking story, bro. The horizon is, what the fuck is that?
Cool story, bro.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, cool story. Like, dope. A bunch of people are shooting at where they can see the end of this. Fuck off. That's worthless. However, if we can focus that into like a more of a dartboard scenario, and then we're all of us collectively are focusing at the exact same the exact same bullseye.
Yeah.
Right? And then we start collaborating with each other. Oh, here's what I noticed. If you lean on your left foot, oh, if you lean on your right foot, oh, if you lean forward, oh, if you lean backwards, oh, if you hold your breath, oh, if you exhale while you release. Whatever, all of a sudden, as we release those fucking arrows, suddenly everybody is hitting the bullseye.
Yeah. Well, right
That's
glove,
what
left
I would
glove,
like to
you
see.
said earlier.
That's what I would like to see more of from our town, is more of that.
A cohesiveness, like a joint effort, basically.
Yeah, we're all aiming at the same bullseye, maybe for different reasons.
Sure.
Maybe a guy does just want to stay a hobby band,
Right.
to go back to where we started this conversation with. Maybe a guy just does want to be fine. But you don't realize that, like, your bass player is only fucking 21 years old, and he might be the next Les Claypool. Teach him some fucking lessons,
Right.
and let him launch from your band.
Right.
Don't hold this kid back because you only want to be in a hobby band. Foster him, man.
Yeah.
Teach this kid some shit. Make it fucking worth it to be in your hobby band.
Well,
So you can continue to be in a dope-ass hobby band, as you call it. I would call it just a dope-ass local band that draws 500 people like they used to.
see, you're
But
using
you're not
hindsight.
selfish anymore.
Unfortunately, like you're using hindsight because you've been there, done that.
Just
and
be a cool guy, man.
that's the hard thing to teach people.
Just be a cool guy, man.
Yeah, well,
I'm not the easiest guy to get along with, dude. I think I know everything. You know, people accuse me of a lot of things, and sometimes they're right, man. You know, I talk too much. I interrupt people. I come across like I got to be right about everything. All these are fair. But you know what? I'm a cool guy. People like hanging out with me. People like making music with me. People like being around me. Like, I'm a giving person.
Yeah.
I have huge flaws. Yeah, I fuck up all the time. Guess, call me out, and I'll be like, oh, you got me.
Right.
I'll
That's
be a little
huge.
better tomorrow.
You got to be able to look in the mirror.
But, dog, all I'm saying is, like, it's about that criticism and that communication, that collaboration, and, like, being a community. But so many people
Constructive
are so
criticism.
selfish, and then they get weird. And they're
Yeah.
like, I don't want to make money. I'm in it for the music. Yeah, we're all in it for the fucking music, dog. That's why we do it. What are we doing?
But
This is why
there's no
Minneapolis.
longevity.
This is why Minneapolis isn't Nashville. That's my final statement. This is why Minneapolis isn't Nashville. It's this mentality right here. I'm not in it for the music, or I'm not in it for the money. Yeah, none of us are in it for the. Dude, that's why we all make music. But
Well-
dude, let's make a living. That's Minneapolis can and should be Nashville. In fact, I think we could be better than Nashville because the pound for pound talent in this fucking town.
I agree.
I can throw a rock and hit an elite fucking drummer.
Dude, I know a
or
lot of
fucking-
people in Nashville that came from here.
I get angry. I get angry when I talk about this, dude.
But here's the thing,
The
Jared.
throwaway attitude
Look at-
we have in this town.
Look at both sides, and here I'll leave you with this. So, when you talk about Nashville and you talk about mindset, like my argument is, if you are going to pursue a project, right, you need to have some sort of longevity factor, and then there's other bands that just they don't care about that side of it. You know, when the monetization, for example, whether that means money or that means, you know, whatever outcome the band may have. Nashville is all about that. They're like, well, I'm going to do the work because I want to get the fame or I want to get the whatever, the outcome, right? Here, people are more apt to just let go of things for whatever reason. And I just don't understand that Midwest.
It's not even just like, oh, it's walk away.
Yeah.
They quit.
Right.
Like this is like this. You're right, dude.
And so
it's not even just the yeah.
what do you
Sorry, go
do?
ahead.
What do you do? I mean, it's hard to instill that into people to try to like boost the community because that's what's needed. You need people collectively, to your point, to like work together to like have a similar goal.
You know what you need? You need a fucking winner. You need a
a
goddamn
leader,
winner.
yeah, somebody
You
to
need a winner.
inspire.
You
Yeah.
need one or two successful people
Yeah.
to rise up, fucking show that it can be done,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna do it.
he's gonna do it. What are we gonna do? What are you gonna do?
When you have one person rise up and show it can be done, what happens, Jason?
Motive.
Fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. We're wrapping up. We're wrapping this podcast up. Go to Tone Vault Audio if you want to order some cables. If you want to sign up for this deal and get some good sound advice, text BAND to 612-482-3. Oh, wait. I'm on this camera. I can't read it from the back, though. Actually, I think I can.
612.
No, I got it. I got it, you
Oh,
son of a bitch.
oh.
Because if you talk, it's going to switch to that camera. So shut the fuck up.
Gotcha.
Okay. So if you guys want to learn some shit and be a part of something, text BAND to 612-482-3567. I can read numbers backwards, motherfucker.
Well done, sir.
Love you guys. The link will be in the description.
Result-vault.com.
I'm playing drums for the Montoya Machine January 17th at Club Underground in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Link is in the description for that. We're playing with Polydemonic Usilic and Brett, fucking Manifest Brutality, dude. Make your name easier to say, bro. I don't even feel guilty about that one, dude.
Yislik?
No, not Yislik. Manifest brutality. That's a mouthful, dude. Manifest brutality. That's a lot of syllables, doc. Yislik, that's a weird one, but it's memorable. It's weird, but it's memorable. I'm not giving you shit. No, manifest brutality. Make that shit. I tried to record an ad read like an hour ago, dude. That shit was hard. That shit was hard. Jason, back me up. How many times did I nailed everything in that ad read except for that fucking opening band's name? How many times did it take me? 4 takes just on the opening band name. You're, too many syllables, it's a mouthful. Manifest brutality. But I have now said it like 7 times in this promo.
I think that's an awesome band name.
It's cool.
They should probably text band
cool.
to 612-482-3567.
Just change your name to Brutality. No one's ever named their band Brutality.
That's not true.
Just name your band Brutality. It's completely original.
Just spell it. Just spell it different. Just spell it different.
Zero problems if you name yourself Brutality. Zero legal
Just
issues.
change the T backwards
to a 4
Wait a minute.
or an upside down
It'd
H.
still be a T.
Yeah, use an upside down H. Love you guys. If you want to follow me for some godforsaken reason, everything's Jared Singer Live. If you want to follow him, Matthew Doug Seeley or Tone Vault Audio.
Or Result Vault. Yeah.
Or Result Vault
Yep.
Solutions.
You'll figure it out.
Result Vault. Or text BAND to 612-482-3567.
Appreciate you guys.
And when you text it, make sure you tell everybody the name of your favorite porno. All right, let's get out of here, Jason.